is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are doing well out there on a beautiful Tuesday. Hope you're hanging in there. Hope our friends out in the West Coast and in Central Florida are fighting the good fight. We know it's going to be a rough one for them for a long, long time. So let's keep our thoughts, our prayers with them, and any kind of help that you can give the folks out in the West Coast, please help them out because they are going through a rough one. And so are our friends in the in Central Florida, man, in that Orlando area. They suffered a lot of damage here in the last couple of days. It's been rough. Being a Floridian is one of those things that you enjoy the hell out of it because it's a beautiful place to live, but there are things that come with it, unfortunately, that we have to deal with. And, it's bad sometimes. And this is one of them, the storms that we have to deal with here in South Florida. So it sucks, but hang in there because I know it's not an easy one. We got a lot of things to talk about today on the show as the Dolphins get ready for the Jets. I noticed that some respect, I guess. Well, I don't know. We're talking about the Jets, but Miami is favored by 3 in this game, even without Tua. I'm wondering if Tua's playing, they're favored by a touchdown in this game. That's crazy. Over and unders 44.5. Miami is minus 175 on the money line. The Jets are plus 150. So Miami even favored by 3 on the road. That's a 6-point swing because normally, your home team is favored by 3. Yesterday, I'll tell you something that I was wrong in yesterday. Yesterday, I was looking at the San Fran game and they were favored by 1.5. And I was like, wow, I would figure the Rams would be favored, right? But then what I didn't take into account that you get 3 points for being home. So the fact that they're down a 1.5, that means that they gave the Rams a little respect. And yesterday, the Niners still did a number on them overall. That defense, just came to play. And they controlled that game 24-9. And it's just one of those deals, it's hard to, when you look at the lines sometimes, Vegas does things for a reason. And more often than not, they're going to be right, man. It's always hard to win on a consistent basis against the number, although we're on a roll positively against the number. That's the good thing. We got to give you a pick. We haven't given you a pick in a couple days here. So we'll see if we get an A. Lenny lockdown segment going. Brian Walters already in with a super chat this morning. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Little hippo and everything there. Got a sticker. You know, I like the stickers. They're always really cool. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can even donate Bitcoin at Cash App. Maybe even Venmo. I'm not sure. I've never gotten any Bitcoin through Venmo, but I know through Cash App you can, because plenty have already done it, and we appreciate it, by the way. What else do we have here? Steve Chapman in number 1. Jamie Zorria in from San Jose. Brian also in. He's on vacation. Oh, he's back from vacation. Well, that sucks, Brian. You know, you kind of want to be on vacation permanently. You know, no work for you. That would be good, right? Would be good for any of us. No work. TJG says, good morning, Big O and Fins fans. Isaiah's in. Adam Sadowski in. Gus 1388. Greater good. He says, cheating in walleye fishing tournament. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that over the weekend. Guys were putting weights in the fish and all that stuff. Yeah, it's funny. What else do we have here? Muzi says, is there a new tab or setting in YT for live streams? Because hasn't shown on my subscriptions the last 2 days when he goes live. Oh, I have no idea. Brother, we have no control over that. I mean, SoundCloud was all screwed up yesterday. They got some of it corrected, but damn, it's just these things sometimes. There are a bunch of this stuff that we have no control over. Finn Fabric says, I got a question. Something that confuses my I've read that Tua's out indefinitely. What's that mean? No, that means that there's no. They put that so they don't have a timetable on it. That's why. Because if not, you're asking, if you put a timetable on, you say, well, he's going to return for this game. And then if he doesn't, then you get questioned and all that stuff. So they leave it as indefinite because they don't know when he's going to return. And that's it. And so when he's ready, when they feel he's ready, like I said, man, told you, 24 days, Pittsburgh. Teddy Two Gloves plays against the Jets, and then he gets against his former team. Everybody gets to write the fluff pieces. Teddy goes back to play against Minnesota, yada, yada, yada. Team that drafted him, team he played for many years, all that stuff. And then Tua will come back against Pittsburgh and Flo and Minka and kick their ass. Okay? Tua came back from the bang in the Bills to ball out. And he was balling out on Thursday. Just, the guy heals quickly. He's a quick healer. As much as he's gotten injured, he comes back from all these injuries. And I expect him to be back from this. As we talked about yesterday, I just feel there's way too much drama behind this bullshit. Way too much drama behind this. And people are going off and they're talking about, hey, it's his choice, man. He chose to play football, right? The miner chooses to go down into that mine and breathe that crap every day. And the fireman chooses to go into a building on fire. What are we supposed to do? It's just like people make it sound like this is the only place where people are actually risking their lives. I get it. You cover sports. Here's your drama. Here's where you can get a lot of clicks and get people all worked up and, drama and all this. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's what it is. We don't do it for race car drivers. We don't do anything. We just mourn their death. I was in Daytona when Earnhardt died. All we do is mourn their death. And we move on. That's it. Air balloon person screws up and the air balloon crashes and people die, and you took the chance, right? You wanted to go on an air balloon. Those are the risks. You know, you choose things. There's lots of jobs in the world that there are risks. Too much drama in all of this. Tua's made his choice. He wants to play football. All right. Jordan Reed played football for several years in the NFL, former Florida tight end. 9, 10, 12 concussions easily that were reported. Unreported, he probably had 20 or 30. You know, it's just people getting on their soapbox and their high horse and all that shit. And, you know, we have soldiers coming in boxes all the time. All the time. You chose to serve, right? This is the risk. Right? You're a police officer. There's a risk. Too much drama on this. Oh, no, we got to protect this. Yeah, well, are you protecting the firemen? Are you telling them, no, don't go into that burning building and save that woman? Come on, man. Let's grow up a little bit. Let's not make this more than what it is. It's a brutal freaking sport, and this is part of it. And what Tua has to learn is to get rid of the football, not to listen to all the bullshit that's going on television and on radio and on blogs and on podcast and people just getting on their soapbox and going after the NFL and the Dolphins and the NFLPA and everything else. And give me a break, dude. Get the hell out of here. Tons of jobs where people are risking their lives and we don't complain a damn thing and we're not out there on some soapbox. They chose to play football. It's never been a nice sport. Have you seen Jim McMahon? Have you watched Earl Campbell? Did you watch Mike Webster? Just look at the stories if you don't know who the hell I'm talking about. Go read up on their state. Sport is what it is. It's not going to change. They hit hard. It's brutal. But they chose to play that game. So what comes with it? The risks. That's it. And he's not out for months and a year or whatever. He'll be back in a couple of weeks, dude. He'll be back in a couple of weeks because that's how he's wired. That's how they're all wired, the real ones. Ian from Brooklyn checking in. Greater good. To extreme. Mike Honcho says Big O politics to affect the Tua time frame. I'm afraid how come no one is worried about UFC? Fencing post happens and many fights over there. No one calls for it's again, but then again, UFC is not the NFL. And then you've got all these reporters and all this coming out and talking about concussions and all this. And my God, they know about this. They know. It's too much. Nyborg in, Eric Storm. Glad I did not bet on the Rams last night. I was tempted. I think Stafford got sacked again. Boy, was I wrong about the Rams winning that game. Yeah, and Stafford does not look good. Alex Toledo. Let's see. Brooklyn says Vegas been listening to the talking heads thinking Teddy is better than Tua. Yeah, well, they must have been listening to Sean Payton or something. He must have made the line. Good morning, Big O. Are you nervous going into this Jets game? I'm nervous with every game that Teddy Bridgewater starts, sir. Because he's not very good. So, what can I tell you? He's smart, very limited, and you just hope that this is all on Mike McDaniel. The next 2 weeks, which I believe they'll be without Tua, this week and next week against Minnesota, I believe Tua comes back for the Pittsburgh game. That's just me. And I just think this is up to Mike. McDaniel has to scheme the hell out of this game. Here's where the offensive genius has to really take over. And he has to find creative ways to get his players involved. Okay? That's what's going to end up having to happen in this game. They've got to do something along those lines. Big O, you are right when you said Tua needs to adapt or he will die. Hope the kid adapts. Exactly. Has nothing to do. That's why all this drama bullshit with the concussions. It's up to him, man. He's created all these problems for himself, and he's got to stop. That's the bottom line. If anybody really wants to be honest and truthful about what's going on, Tua's his own worst enemy. So you can't take 5 seconds to release a ball. You do that more often than not, you will end up injured, concussed, or something along those lines, because 5 seconds is a ridiculous amount of time to give a defensive line to get after you. Guaranteed they will get after you if you give them 5 seconds, you know? So that's where, to me, this whole thing just becomes an absolute joke. That's my problem with this whole thing. And we've talked about it before. And that's why there's a ridiculous amount of overreaction going on with all of this. But hey, it allows them to get their clicks and get their views, and you guys to talk about it and panic and, oh my God, he's going to be out for the season. Oh my God, it's Teddy for the whole year. This, that. It's just, one guy yesterday, oh, I'm worried that X wasn't on the field. I'm like, dude, it's Monday. Relax. Wait till Thursday. Okay? Wait till Thursday. And then if he's not practicing Thursday, then you've got an issue. Because if one thing you want for this Jets and Minnesota game, if you're going to play these next two games without Tua, you would like Byron Jones back, but you would also like X there too. Just saying. Even though X hasn't played great, but they are picking on him a little bit there. What else do we have here? Kadura says Big O. No, I got that. Ray says Big O Tyreek. He was close to signing with the Jets. He said he signed with the Finns because of state income tax. Yeah. So not the first player to sign here for state income tax. Is that shocking news to anybody? I'm sorry. Are your feelings hurt that he didn't sign with the Dolphins because it was his heart, not his wallet? Is that what's going on? Is that the reaction? Is that what's going on? Is that why reporters are putting it out there? Huh? Is that why fans are reacting? I'm sorry. Are you guys emotional cripples? Oh, did Tyreek hurt your feelings? Really? Is this supposed to be news? If New York market, he would eat that place up. It would be fun for him, but you're going to make less money in New York. Plus, the way that clown states run, I don't know if I want to live there. I'd rather live here. So I'm not sure, but I mean, if your feelings are hurt because he chose to make more money here, hate to tell you, 98% of the players that sign here over a tax state, that's probably why they're signing. I love the Dolphins. You love the Dolphins, but that's because we grew up being fans of the Dolphins. Tyreek did not. Tyreek is a fan of money, fame, football, attention. That's what he wants. You can get plenty of it in New York, but you're going to make more money here. So I'm not sure why this is a story. The only reason I can think is that some of you are butthurt about this. It's amazing. Seriously. Come on, man. Let's go. Big O, you're telling athletes to sign with teams that pay more money. Never heard of that before. I didn't say that. Did I say that? Where did I say that? Where did you hear me say that, Eric? Please explain where I said that. I'm not telling players to sign somewhere else. I'm just telling you that if the situations were equal tax-wise, he probably would have gone to New York. That's probably what I was saying. You may not have picked up on it, but that's your fault, not mine. Pay attention to the host, to what I'm actually saying, because I did not say that, they should sign in another place where they make less money. I'm telling you that they sign here a lot of times because they're going to make more money because it's a tax thing. Shocker. You want to have a business in New York or California or Florida or Texas? Florida and Texas. Why? Because as a business owner, you're going to be treated a hell of a lot better. It's just those are the facts. That's why a lot of companies left California and left New York and went to Florida and Texas. Dude, I was pretty clear on what I was explaining. Nico Jones, thank you for the love, sir. For the next 2 weeks, Tua needs to sit and watch 18 hours a day of Marino and Brady film and how fast they get rid of the ball, and they never held it for 5 seconds. Just show plays of Marino throwing the ball away. That's all. I promise you, his next press conference, I will be front and center. And I will ask him straight up about all of this. Okay? Guaranteed, because I look at this completely different than 99% of the media. 99% of the media wants to lean on the drama. Then again, they have their editors pressing on them for the drama, so then they have to do it whether they like it or not. See, that's a good thing. I don't answer to a goddamn thing. I don't answer to anybody. I don't need to answer to anybody. I will never answer to anybody again. I'm going to say what's on my mind. Okay, and I don't worry about the politics of it. I don't worry about the corporation behind me. I don't worry about their ties to a team or a player or a situation or whatever. I don't have any of those things tied to me. I don't have an editor above me saying, no, we need you to write more about this. I don't have a producer telling me you need to take this side. But wait a minute, I don't believe that. It doesn't matter. We need it for the drama of it all, to stir it up. I don't have any of those. I'm not tied to any of that stuff. So that's what I love about what we do here. And that's why this platform, I think, has continued to grow, because you can actually get brutal honesty here that you can't get in the newspapers sometimes. You can't get it definitely on radio and television. That's so politicized, it's not even funny. You still have newspapers and reporters that can write some of their stuff. You know, some won't cross the lines and they're, don't have a lot of balls. But there are still some that have the balls to say what actually is going on. Radio and TV is all fluff. Very few people can actually be themselves on radio or television, to be quite honest. Giovanni Antoine, Marcel Louis Jacques is a viable option. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, he's Marcel has a terrible arm. So, no, he's not, actually. I heard Tyreek say, I can put up numbers with you. And that made Marcel feel good, but we all know Marcel has no arm. He's got no game whatsoever. So, no. None. But it did make Marcel feel good. So let's all make Marcel feel good for that. But, deep down inside, we know Marcel can't hit the side of an ocean. The ocean. So he'll struggle with that. So, no, we don't want to put Marcel in that position. Plus, he probably will take 10 seconds, and then we'll have to bury him. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't want to put Marcel in a bad position. One, he can't play the game, can't throw the ball, and then we're going to put him in a position where he's going to get mortalized. Not good. Not good. Let's take care of Marcel. He's a good dude. He does a great job as a reporter and an insider. Let's keep him there. Put him on the field, we're doing an injustice. We're not doing good coaching. We're not putting him to our players' strengths. That's what's going on. You people dislike Marcel. That's why you want to put him out there on the field. Big O Teddy or the youngin? Josh, did you listen to the show yesterday? Come on, man. Stop with the stupidity. Can we just say it already? I mean, does anybody have to just say it to you people out there? Is that what you need? Do people are just nice to you guys? Oh, come on, bro. He's just young. It's a stupid-ass suggestion. That you need, brutal honesty that nobody will give you. It's a stupid-ass suggestion. What are you going to use, Tom Brady on me? Come on, man. Enough already with this shit. You got to go with Teddy. Teddy has seen every defense out there. He knows what to do. He may be limited, but at least he knows what he sees. Skyler doesn't know anything. And to put him in this position at this time is unfair to him and completely a stupid ass suggestion by you and all the thousands and thousands of other idiots that think Skyler's a good idea right now. You use Skyler, you break glass, you use Skyler. You use Skyler because you have no choice. He has no experience. He has no idea how to read NFL defenses at this level. He has not played against number ones who are constantly going after your ass. It's a stupid selection. It's a stupid, suggestion. Are we clear on this? Do me a favor, Sean. Please cart this one up right here. Let me use an old radio term. Cart this up right there. That's it. Okay, so the next time, well, it's like a blind ass fan alert. Obviously, some of you need to be rattled a little bit. And I know in today's world, you young people out there, oh my God, he just called me a moron. Let me go into a shell. I'm so soft. I can't take it. Just relax already with the Skyler stuff. You sound stupid. And nobody will tell you, I'll tell you. You sound stupid. You know, really, man, it's like, that's why you're fans sometimes. Some of you out there, you're fanatical. You have very little logic. You're just fanatic. That's it. The list is Brady, and it's over. 7th round picks don't become starters. Just doesn't happen. Wow. Just so stupid, man. It really is. It's ridiculous. It's insulting that you're that. It's like voting for Herschel Walker or Marjorie Taylor Greene. These are animals with clothes on, and you're voting for them. Like, these are two of the stupidest people I've ever seen in my life. And you're voting for, it's the same thing. I swear to you, it's that kind of sense. You must be smoking the worst weed in the world. You must be on pills, on alcohol, or whatever if you think Skyler's a good idea right now. Why? Because you saw him in the preseason against scrubs, against backups that weren't scheming and weren't doing anything? Come on, man. Jesus. Knight, would you stick with Tua if we knew he would always miss 2 games a year but wins 11 games? Yeah. So he's playing in the playoffs? Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that. No problem. I'll take 2 games a year. Dumbest thing in the world. Wasn't a suggestion. I'm not. Oh no, Josh, if you're talking Skyler, you're an idiot. Let's just talk about it. If you suggested Skyler, if you think Skyler, if you want Skyler, you're an idiot. Let's just get that straight. You may not want to admit it, but I'll tell you you're an idiot. Okay? That's fine. We're all idiots. I do it all the time too. But the difference between you and me is when I realize I'm an idiot, I go, damn, I'm an idiot. Ask Sean. All the time I do it. Whenever I screw up or whatever, I did something stupid, I say I'm an idiot. But I'm willing to look in the mirror and say, damn, dude, I screwed up. Are you willing to look in the mirror and say, yeah, kid has no experience, a 7th round pick. Yeah, he was playing against nobodies. Yeah, I don't think putting him up against first-team NFLers right now. Oh, because I think that he's the next Tom Brady. You know, come on, bro. The suggestion, the thought, the want, it's all stupid. Okay? Suggestion, thought, want, and even the question, all stupid. Let's just get that straight. But I get it. Some of you out there, you're ultra sensitive. This is not the show for you if you're ultra sensitive. This is not the show for you if you want to hear only good things about your team. Not the show for you. Never has been, never will be. Go listen to a fan show that maybe they can't handle the honesty. But I'll tell you the honesty. I'll tell you when Ryan Tannehill will never be a franchise quarterback, and I'll tell you that Tua's a baller. And I'll tell you that Sue's contract is garbage, and it won't help the team at all. You want to live with it? You live with it. You don't? I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes on this show. But I'm not going to pussyfoot around when you guys make stupid-ass suggestions that are unrealistic. I'll tell you because I'm trying to help you so you don't go out in public continuing to say the stupid-ass things you just said. Devin Jordan, thank you. Oh, you're too hilarious when you said you must be smoking the worst weed ever. No, seriously. Must be full of seeds and stems, probably some peyote. I don't know. Maybe they sprayed it with some kind of, I don't know, some kind of what is it? Insecticide or what is it? What's it called? What's that called? What's that stuff that they use for the bugs? That kind of stuff. Yeah, there you go. Whatever it is. It's disgusting. I will take it from you. No offended, Big O. Shouldn't be offended. I'm helping you, Josh. I'm trying to help you. I'm here in your corner helping you. That what you're suggesting, asking, wanting makes no sense. Teddy Bridgewater, as limited as he is your best option right now. Okay, the kid's calm, cool, collective. He's smart. He's just limited. That's the only thing with Teddy. He's limited. But this is golden with Teddy. Now, he may not be able to do everything he wants to do with this. Everything he sees, he might not be able to do it. The problem is the other kid won't see any of it. And that's the difference. They'll put his head spinning. And that's not right to him. You prepare that young man for this position. Now, if Teddy gets injured, then he'll have no choice. Now you're done there. Incesticide. That's it. Oh, that was the name of the Nirvana album, so that's not it. So what's it called? What is it that they use to kill the bugs? What's that? So it's not incesticide, or it is incesticides. Yes?
Pesticide.
Pesticides. There we go.
Pesticide.
There we go. That dude's smoking weed with pesticide. There we go. Pesticide. Thank you. Incesticide is what you do when you get bugs of the same family to have sex. Is that what we're doing? Okay. All right. Big O eats crow when Skylar replaces Teddy. Yes. Oh, I'm going to eat crow. I'll eat crow when Skylar plays well. Okay? Not when he plays and he throws a bunch of interceptions and makes a bunch of mistakes. And let me tell you something. To get a guy and put him in there like what Belichick does, okay, he doesn't know much. Let's keep it really limited. That's no fun either. Yeah. So. Incesticide is Game of Thrones. Nice. I like that. These guys smoking skunk weed from back in the day. Yep. Hell yeah. Defense will win or lose games while Tua is out. Teddy just needs to avoid turnovers and score in the red zone. Just get the ball to the playmakers, man. Just get the ball to the playmakers. Quick passing game. Get running backs. Get these receivers out in the open field. I think the offense will change a little bit now this week. I think he will tweak things. Kevin Beal says people hate Tua because he's open about his faith and a Christian believes in Jesus, just like Tebow and Russell Wilson. I'm telling you, he has morals. Yeah, we've already talked about that, Kevin. And people just don't like really good people. It's just we're quick at tearing down really good human beings. That's kind of our MO in this world, man. It's the weirdest thing how we treat good people. but that's how it is. We give the biggest scumbags in the world all kinds of chances, right? It's hilarious. And then the guys that are just absolutely amazing human beings, like Russell and like Tua, we're quick to tear their asses down, bro. Down. Meanwhile, we'll give a loser like A-Rod every break in the book, lies to everybody, misleads all kinds of people, how ruins a relationship with J-Lo. I mean, come on, man. And yet chance after chance after we have a weird society, dude. We have this really odd society. It's just, unfortunate. It really is. All right, let's get to it, baby. Cameron Wolf and our KSDT CPA Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
Right, there he is. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed. How you doing, my man? How you enjoying your day off?
I'm good, man. Feeling good. Just got a massage after a long week and gonna hang with the fam today.
I like it. All right. Your thoughts on them and what their whole and how they're pacing Tua from here on out. What do you think ends up happening?
Yeah, I think, let's just call it what it is. I think that they were gonna fit Tua this week regardless. Like, even beyond.
Froze. You gotta like when it you gotta like when it freezes and he's scratching his head with a can in his hand and it froze right there. So that it was a comb, not a can. Oh, it looked like a can that you had.
It was either a brush or a.
That was it. You froze with the bottle in your hand. That was good. That was like.
It's just water. It's 10:30 a.m. Not to the liquor yet. Now, I think the reality of the situation is, one, he has a concussion, right? And so, I think it was going to be hard-pressed for him to play this week anyway. But I do think that, whether they admit it or not, there's an optics element that comes in this as well. And they've been getting publicly, criticized for days, on how they handled the situation in against Buffalo and then the fallout against Cincinnati. And they've really been strong on saying they felt like they've done nothing wrong. But I'd say probably 95% of people who watched it feel otherwise. And so because of that, I think that's why you see the early rule out on Monday. A lot of times concussions, you don't get a official rule out until Thursday or Friday. So they ruled them out for Monday. The team can prep all week with Teddy Bridgewater as their starter and kind of get ready for this Jets game. Now, concussions are very much unpredictable, right? So it's possible he could play against Minnesota in week 6. It's also possible he can miss, 2, 3, 4 weeks and not be back until, later points. So, I think it is good news that he's at the facility. He's been in the locker room with the team. Players have said they've talked to him and he seems pretty normal. And so I think it could have been a lot worse given what we saw. So I think the team's probably going to be cautious and make sure that he is okay more than anything else.
I say he plays against the Steelers and they give him 24 days off.
Yeah.
So, and then all you guys get to write the fluff pieces about Teddy Two Gloves playing his former team and all that stuff. And, right. you got to try to split these two games, worst case scenario, or maybe get lucky and win both. But you got to win one of these two while he's out. And then you get him back for Pittsburgh where he can beat Flo, Minka, and the Steelers' ass. So it's kind of, I think that's what's going to end up happening because you look at it, he flew back right away. That was an enormous sign. Okay. Now he's with the team hanging out. And say what you want. I talked about this now. Yeah, he's had lots of injuries, but guess what? He's also a quick healer. That's been proven. And in the end, Cam, look, when he has his next press conference, I'm going to be front and center there, and I'm going to ask him the real question that needs to be asked. And this is the question that needs to be asked. Tua, when are you going to stop holding on to the ball, bro? Because you threw that play happened at the 5-second mark.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he got slammed to the ground, not because of what happened on Sunday, because he does the same stupid ass shit the last couple of years. You hang on to the ball, a fat guy catches you and blows out your hip. You hang on to the ball, a guy catches you and blows out your ankle. Now you hung on to the ball, a fat guy caught you and concussed your ass. So you are just like Baker Mayfield, who can't outrun a drunk cop. So since you're like Baker Mayfield and you can't outrun fat guys or drunk cops, get rid of the goddamn ball, dude. Because this is why we're having this issue. This had nothing to do with Sunday. It had to do everything with his terrible habit of holding on to the ball. Holding on to the ball is what's created all of these injuries and problems for him. And in the New England game, he almost got injured or turnovers because he tried it a couple times, that hero ball bullshit. And then he forgot about it in the Baltimore game. And then it came up again in this game, and then there you go. Now we have the end results. To me, the only problem that has ever been created has been created by Tua Tagovailoa, and he needs to understand, get rid of the goddamn football.
No, I think you're right on the money there, honestly. Like I went back and watched that play, and honestly, Jalen Waddle was open on that play. Jalen Waddle was cutting on an out-breaking route towards the sideline. And if he sees him, maybe he didn't see him. Sometimes we see stuff in the all-22 that the quarterback may miss because their read was on the left side of the field instead of the right side of the field. And so that's possible there. But Jalen Waddle was breaking wide open, and he hits him in the money.
5 seconds, bro.
He probably didn't even get touched on that play if he hits Jalen Waddle.
You can't play Ryan Tannehill football, dude. You cannot play Ryan Tannehill football.
Right.
Sorry.
And so I think that's a legit criticism and a legit critique of Tua's game, because sometimes a lot of these quarterbacks, and Tua's no different, think you're Superman, and you want to go back out there and create all these big plays and create the downfield, and you're looking, and you often think that you can escape these defenders easier than you can. And I do wonder how much his back injury limited him from being able to avoid the big defender, like you mentioned, is a 330-pound guy. It looked like he held the ball all too long. And then at the last second, he thought he could
take a grounding call, bro. Take a grounding call.
Right. And he got exactly. So yeah, you got to realize how important you are to your team. And I know nobody plays out there thinking,
bro, to your wife, your family, your coaches, and your teammates. Screw the media. Forget the fans, bro. The people that really, you have a wife now, bro. You have a wife now. Take care of yourself, dude. And I'm going to tell him this too when I talk to him the next time. You like to quote Marino, pick a guy and let it fly. Well, I watched all of Marino's career. When the play was going to die, he let it fly. And he better learn. He better run the tape on Marino, because Cam, I used to argue with Dolphin fans that hated that Marino would throw away the ball so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, dude, he's trying not to get hit so he can live for the next play. You know what I mean? And you've already done 4th and 7 and 3rd and 22. Kid, you can get people out of tough decisions and tough holes. You're a player. You're a baller. But you're not a baller if you don't stay on the damn field. And to me, that's really the real problem out of all of this that nobody's talking about. Everybody's on their soapbox. And you know what? Here's the other thing that I hate about this, Cam. Are we doing this with police officers and firemen and auto race car drivers? And when we hand a 21-year-old a rifle and says, go defend our country, and skydivers, and if you want to go on a hot air balloon, and if you want to be a miner, and if you want to work in FP&L and work on power lines, and all, dude, people are taking risks all the time. So, and they chose to run in front of the Bulls. You chose to play football. Let's get off our high horse here, okay? They know the risks. These are the risks that are going to happen. So let's not get too crazy. Lots of people take risks all over the place. We have reporters that are covering war scenes. Hell, we have a reporter that got shot by an Israeli that was covering a war out in the Middle East. I don't know if you follow all that kind of stuff, but she was basically murdered, by an Israeli soldier. So he was covering the war. This is part of the risks that you take. It's just the way it is. A lot of us work in jobs that we don't take risks. All these people that signed on for these specific jobs, they know exactly what the risks are. So let's not kid ourselves either and get on our high horse and act like, oh my God, this is going on. It's been going on forever. Please.
So I'll say two things there. I do think that the football players know the risk that they're playing. Like, I played football growing up. I probably didn't know all that I know now. Probably wouldn't have changed my view of playing football growing up. If I eventually have a son, I probably will let him play football, although I probably will be restricted at what age I do so. Now, these guys all know the risk of concussions. I will say this, though. You do have an element of trusting the doctors, your team, everyone around you, that they will do things in your best interest. And so I do believe that the Dolphins and his team and the doctors did things in his best interest in the situation. That's just my opinion. We'll see what the report comes out to, but my opinion is they did. That being said, I think a lot of the outrage that you're talking about, the soapbox, is people responding as if they didn't. And if for whatever reason they didn't, which, like I said, again, I don't believe they did, but if they didn't do things in his best interest, then that is where I would have an issue. Because
right. But you and I know, dude, that doctor followed their protocols, but their protocols obviously weren't good enough. So now they're changing and they're using that person as a scapegoat to fire them. But I mean, this is just he came back and balled, bro. He was fine. He was balling.
So he did play well, but like we know, sometimes concussion symptoms don't show up as media as we want. I will say that I do think the new concussion protocol rules are a much needed change. I don't know if you noticed, but this weekend alone, there's been such an increase of concussions and guys not coming back, and it's not been like that before. And so you can't tell me
they got to sell it now. They got to sell it now. I mean,
right. But you can't tell me there's not a direct
nobody's complaining about T. Higgins leading up to that game when he's dealing with 2 dings leading up to that game, and nobody said a goddamn thing about it. So it's just, and here J.J. Watt, which, by the way, I have a problem with this. This is, again, I have a problem with all of this. Now we're revealing some medical issue that J.J. Watt had. That's his choice, dude. If he needs to zap his heart to get it back on track and chooses to play on Sunday, that's his choice. You made a choice, right? You signed up to go to the war. You know what could happen. You made a choice. You wanted to be a police officer. You know what could happen. This is my problem with all of this. They're making these choices, and we are acting like we have to control their lives. And that part is wrong. Wrong on every level. This is why this whole abortion issue is such a big thing. I don't want to control a woman's body. Let her control her body. That's the way it should be. We should be able to determine our lives. And we're trying to determine if J.J. Watt wants to restart his heart the right way and then get on the field. Bro, that's his choice.
Right.
That's his choice. We got that. That's where I think we're crossing a line that you have a choice. You want to take a risk? You want a bull to put a horn in your ass? I'm not going to feel sorry for you, dude. If you're Jason Pierre-Paul and you want to hang on to the firecracker a little too long, I'm not feeling sorry for you, dude. I'm sorry. You made a choice. That's your choice. So the J.J. Watt thing, do you have a problem with that?
A problem as far as him putting it out there?
Both him doing it, not the putting out there. He put it out there because some reporter was going to put it out there.
Right.
You have a problem with him making his choice, 1, and 2, I think that reporter is dead ass wrong. You should not be reporting somebody's medical issues. Okay, that's private.
So yeah, I don't have any control over what J.J. Watt does with his body. So I'm with you there. I think that we all make decisions whether they're smart or not. It's up to, a person's opinion, but we all make decisions based on our own health and our own life. And so I don't have any issue with J.J. Watt deciding what he wanted to do. As far as the reporter, I think there's a more nuanced conversation there as far as journalism and what's right, what's ethical, what's moral, and then what's, giving somebody common grace as a human. And so I've never been in that situation where I've got to, report something that's that significant. But I will say there are times you have to report something that people do not want out, and that's part of your job. And so, I don't know what the report.
That's a medical issue, dude. That's none of your business.
So
that's none of our business.
Here's what I'll say. HIPAA protects the client, the patient. And so if that situation it came out from the doctor, then that would be a violation and that would be illegal, right? But if this information came through another source, it came through the team, it came through, an agent, then I think there's a little bit of leeway there, because honestly, the only reason why is it does have some effect on his ability to play football, right? So if this becomes an issue, if this is something that becomes a health issue in game, this is something you've held back and reported. And so that's where I'm a little hesitant. If it's something that has nothing to do with his game, this happens in March in the off season, and he kind of continues on, then yes, I'm with you. It's his health issue. It doesn't really impact his game at all. But this is right before a Sunday game. I think that it may be fair in reporting. That's private.
It's private, bro. I don't think it's fair to us be reporting any kind of medical issue unless they want it out. And it didn't sound like he wanted it out. The way he put it out there didn't sound like it was his agent to, hey, throw that out there so they know what kind of risks I'm taking and all that. I
hear you there. And I will say, like I said, there's certain grace that you would like reporters to go about this with. But I'll say, like you mentioned, health issues. In the last maybe 3 to 5 years, there's been multiple coaches who've had health episodes at games, right? Gary Kubiak had a mini stroke when he was leaving the stadium at halftime. Andy Reid had to be low gurney as he was leaving the game one day. And these are private things, right? I'm sure that Gary did not want out that he had a mini stroke, and Andy Reid did not want out that he's doing this, right? But to me, those are fair things that should be.
That happened in public. This did not. This was not an incident. This was a procedure done behind the scenes. Nobody had to find out. We saw Kubiak go down. We saw what's the North Carolina coach, Roy Williams. We've seen guys. Doesn't Coach K have like a? I think he has a condition too now or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's different, dude. When we see it up front like that, then you've got to ask. But behind the scenes,
we didn't see Andy Reid go down. That happened.
That's right.
That happened after the game. It was over. And it happened behind closed doors. The only way we found out about that is because it was reported.
Right.
And so
I'm sure when you see a big fat guy being wheeled out on a gurney onto an ambulance, somebody's going to report it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's hard to miss Andy Reid on a gurney.
It wasn't something most of the public saw. It was something.
But half the world can see. Half the world can see because it's a big fat dude on a gurney. So you can't really.
Right, but I'm saying it was inside the tunnel where not many people are. Like it's literally just reporters and team personnel that are in there at that point, and security. So it's not like the fans are going to be able to see that. So my whole point is that, I don't believe in, like, if something happened, for example, with a player here, I'm not going to be trying to go get information from a doctor or go up to a hospital and trying to figure out this sort of thing. But if information is brought up to me in regards to, hey, this guy may miss this game because he had he had to go take a screening for cancer, let's say, God forbid, right? To me, I think that's a delicate situation where I don't know if I would report it, but I don't necessarily think I rule it out completely as well. Because if it affects your ability to play the game, then I think that's our job as reporters to put that information out. But I do think it's a nuanced conversation.
Are you surprised the Dolphins are favored by 3 on the road with Teddy Two Gloves?
No, they're a better team.
They are a better team, but I just think they take a monster step back. It's just. And by the way, the only good thing I like about this injury is that people get to see what's backup, because we had the silly suggestions of, Bridgewater will take over and all that kind of stuff, which is just ridiculous. And then you get to watch about some of the other quarterbacks around the league, and you're like, yeah, this Tua kid can play. Yeah, we want him back now. You know what I'm saying? So the one thing that I like about it is that maybe Dolphin fans are going, yeah, no, he's by far the best player they've ever had at that position since Marino. You know,
Right.
so I think that the Tua appreciation meter, it goes up a little bit here over the last couple of days. I'm just saying.
So I do think that a lot of the national public perception still thinks that Teddy and Tua are very, very close in talent level. And so
Well, that's a lot of stupid people.
right.
That's a lot of stupid people.
Like
Wow.
the way I
Okay.
listen national TV, and maybe some of this goes into Vegas as well. I think that most people at this point think that Tua is better than Teddy. But I think the narrative is that Teddy is maybe the best backup quarterback in the league and starter quality. This is the narrative. And that maybe if he was a starter in the league, he would be maybe the 25th best starter. And a lot of people may think that Tua right now is somewhere in that 15 to 22 range as far as starters. So you lose. That's what I'm saying, a national perception, not my
He's
perception.
playing top 5 quarterback in the league.
I have told you time and time again, he's played really good ball. I think that you're right. He's played like a top five.
You've never been an anti-Tua guy,
Right,
you know?
Right. He has played top 5 ball. If you look at all the major stats, Tua's in the top 5 in all these major categories. But you're asking me why are they favored by 3 points? I'm telling you why I think so. I think the national perception is Tua's maybe quarterback 17, Teddy Bridgewater's quarterback 25, and for them that drop off is maybe worth 2 or 3 points. And so for them, Dolphins might have been favored by 5, 5.5 if Tua was playing. Maybe it's down to 3 with Teddy. So I do think the gap is bigger. I'm telling you what I think the national public may think. Right. And also, they're telling us this. I'm telling you this. The Jets are not a good football team. They beat the Steelers last week, who are
and they're not good either.
Very good football team.
Yeah, they're not. They're not.
And so I do think that I at least hope for Dolphins fans' sake that the Dolphins defense, particularly the secondary, who got burned on a few plays, Xavier Howard, Javon Holland actually, didn't have his best game as well. They respond well typically after, some struggles. And so I think Dolphins fans should hope they pick on Zach Wilson and get 2 or 3 picks here, and they can win a nice, dirty division game and get out of there with a victory.
Yeah, and if any of the players have hot moms, just bring them over and have them wave at Zach, and maybe that'll keep his mind off the game a little bit there, and then that's it. That's what you got to do. Bring a couple Cougars over, right? And maybe he'll be attracted to the Cougars. He'll be more interested in the Cougars, and they'll move on. All right, what's your gut tell you about Byron Jones this week? Because in order to make their lives really hell, it would be nice if 1, X can heal up and play, and 2, Byron Jones also gets on the field, and then that really gives their secondary a nice little boost. Although I'm not necessarily impressed with X early on in this season, but go ahead.
Yeah, X hasn't played his best ball, and I think X will tell you that. I do wonder, and I guess I may be a part of this because I've written a big story on it. I do wonder how much him is getting in his mind of chasing these interceptions and wanting to be, the franchise all-time leader in interceptions and innocent reach. But I do wonder how much that's affecting his play. Obviously, he's got the groin injury, which I do think is impacting him. But it's not the first time he's dealt with some nicks and groin of a groin injury or other injuries. And he hasn't played as poorly as he's played at times this year. He hasn't done it consistently through a game, but it's been 2 or 3 plays in several games where he has played poorly and they've led to big plays. The Rashad Bateman touchdown a couple weeks ago, the T. Higgins touchdown this week. And so that you can't take
he gave Duvernay more space than you have if you stand behind Kim Kardashian. I mean, and that's a lot of space. Right. So yeah, dude, that was scary. When I saw him give him that much space, I was like, yo, dude, like, are you that respectful of his speed? And
right,
because he is fast. Duvernay is fast, but man, and he just gave him the pass.
And that's why I do wonder, like, I can't report anything at this point, but I do wonder if they decide to, hey, maybe let's give X a week. Maybe let's give him some time away, because the groin, that's a soft tissue injury, and that's an injury that lingers. And so you don't get better unless you stay off of it. And he hasn't practiced much. They've done good taking care of him as far as practice, but playing, you still tweak it. So I would keep an eye on him as we get later in the week on the injury report. As far as Byron Jones, Mike McDaniel said on Monday that they'll see at the middle point of this week. To me, this is a guy who has not played on the field since either December or January last year. I would be shocked if he played this week against the Vikings. I think that he's going to need a week or two at least of ramp-up time once he is ready to practice before he's able to play. I just think that, especially for that position, the Achilles injury that he's having. So I don't even know if he's going to practice this week. And even if he does practice this week, I think it's more getting ready for the Steelers game, or the Vikings or Steelers game, rather than him getting ready for this Jets game. It's just my feel at this point.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. I think this is a game that's all the next two games, because I think we'll have Teddy Two Gloves for at least two games. And I think the next two games are all on Mike McDaniel more than anything else. When we talk about, the offensive genius and creative and all that, that's what's going to keep them in games or possibly win them games. He's going to have to be ultimately really creative to help his team. And I think they will, they can tell you all the bullshit they want that they're going to run the same offense. I don't think you can run the same offense with Tua and with Teddy. I think it's going to be a quick passing game. And I think even running backs and all those kind of guys are going to get more involved and get their playmakers and their speed guys out in the open field and have them make plays. I think there will be a little bit of an adjustment in this offense. Your thoughts on that? Your guesses?
Yeah, I do think there will be, but I will say that the core of the offense has always been a sort of yak-based offense. If you remember, right, Mike McDaniel wants to yak the heck out of teams. That was the saying going into the season, right? And so Tua's pleasantly surprised a lot of people, not necessarily us, but Tua's pleasantly surprised a lot of people on how effective and how frequently they've gone down the field with the deep ball, right? And so they've done that with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And so because of that, the narrative has changed, and this is like all of a sudden it's a deep shot offense. And so they've been really effective with it. But at the core, I think they still want to be an offense that we're getting the ball to our playmakers and we're letting them do the work. And so whether that's a 50-yard deep bomb, which they've done a lot because defenses haven't truly respected Tua the way I think they do now, or if it's just 7-yard slant, Tyreek or Jalen, and let him take it the other 70. But I'm with you. I do think that maybe they dial back on some of the deep balls. Teddy did hit one to Tyreek in that game, but it kind of got tipped up and then into Tyreek's hands, so it kind of worked in their favor. I don't want to call it lucky because he made the play, but it kind of worked in his favor. I just don't know how many.
Tyreek's hands and concentration in traffic,
right?
Special,
right?
Special.
And you have a guy in Teddy who, whatever you want to say on how he's played, he is a veteran who knows defenses. And so he can make quick, right decision. And so if it's, hey, we're running two slants with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, you make a quick decision on who to go to. Look at Tyreek, look at Jalen, make a decision. And that's the core of the offense. And then doing a lot of the wide zone scheme with Raheem. I think Raheem's going to get a lot more touches in the weeks ahead. I think that'll be a good core of your offense. And really, if your defense plays the way you need to do, you just need to score maybe 24 points. And that should be good enough for you to get a victory against this Jets team. So, one thing I am interested in, and I'm going to ask Mike McDaniel about this on either Wednesday or Friday, whatever day I end up being up there. I am curious if he has to consciously flip plays now that Teddy is in the game as a right-handed quarterback compared to Tua as a lefty. I think I mentioned to you before, there was a few plays this season where it looked to me like it was for a right-handed quarterback, and I was wondering if Mike had forgot for a quick second or that he had Tua as a lefty. But now you have more of a traditional right-handed passer. I'm curious how many of their plays were for him being left-handed, and do you have to flip that? It's just flipping one side versus the other, but it is something that's still notable for your receivers and your offensive line.
I already know the answer when you ask him. Okay?
Yeah.
He's going to say, No, it's the same offense. We're going to run the same thing. You know why? Because if he tells you that he has to flip it, he's also telling defensive coordinators that he has to flip it.
Right,
And
but
so
to me, is that like giving up game plan? Like the fact that you have a lefty versus a righty, all of a sudden.
Dude, but you know coaches. Coaches, they don't want to give away anything.
Right, but like even as Teron Armstead has never protected his quarterback's blind side this year until Teddy has come in, right? And now going into the game, you know that, which is fine. You actually rather have it this way. Teron's going to be protecting Teddy's blind side, and Greg Little is going to be protecting, his power side. And so something as small as that, something as simple as if you want Tyreek on the strong side of the field to roll to your quarterback's strong arm, then maybe you'll be doing that on the right side of the field and him dragging on the right side instead of dragging on the left side. Like, to me, these are not things that, like, I'm thinking about it. Trust me, Robert Saleh's thinking about it. Like, I'm not all of a sudden, like, as smart as I think I am, I'm not all of a sudden creating this idea that they haven't thought.
He's thinking about it, but he also doesn't know if it will happen or not. He's not sure. But if he answers the question, then he's going to – I'm just telling you, because of my experiences around coaches, they don't give you anything like that publicly. They'll give you the generic, no, we're going to run the same offense under Teddy that we did with Tua. Nothing changes, all that, because that's just the way they are. It does make all the sense in the world what you're saying, okay? Right. I'm just telling you, I don't think he'll answer the damn question. I think he'll be vague about it and give you a very generalization about it, like nothing changes.
Fair.
You know what I mean? I just think that's what's going to end up happening. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. See, I don't screw that up anymore. And of course, catch him later on in the week, post game this week, Dolphins and Jets. So we will talk to him post game. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. We will talk later on in the week, and have safe travels.
Absolutely. Go Phillies. First playoff berth in 11 years, So appreciate the Marlins for helping in that pursuit, beating the Brewers.
Hey, man, whatever they can do to help other teams, because they certainly aren't going to help themselves. That's for damn sure. It is what it is. Enjoy the Phillies, my brother. You'll be good.
Yep.
There you go. Cameron Wolf, by the way, KSDT, CPAs do it all, from forensic accounting and business valuation. They can take care of you, commercial litigation, divorce, fraud, all of the things that could affect your business. KSDT is there for you. Management advisory services, from forecast, projections, and budgets, implementation of accounting software. They can help you in so many different ways. It's not just about your personal or business taxes. KSDT Healthcare Advisory also. They can help you with fraud investigation, commercial diligence, you name it. It's a string of things that I can talk about, and it would take over an hour. They've got property management services, administration, negotiation of renewal contracts and leases. They can help you with rent collection, supervisors of property vendors, you name it. Wealth management, valuation, and of course, tax, domestic and international. 3 fantastic offices serving the folks here in South Florida. 305-670-3370. They've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Call them 305-670-3370 for KSDT CPAs. And that is Cameron Wolf and your Miami Dolphins report.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Hour number 2 of the program is on the air. Welcome back, folks. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, on a Tuesday, October 4th. Sean Stanley mastering this program like he does every day at an exceptional level. Braves and Marlins will continue their set. They beat the Braves yesterday 4-0. Luzardo, nice outing, 6 innings, 12 Ks in that 6th inning. Today it's Jake Odorizzi taking on Braxton Garrett, and Braves are favored by 1.5 here, over and under 7.5. Braves minus 165 on the money line. Marlins are plus 140. we'll see what happens there. What's one more game after this, right? And then the season is over for the Marlins. They did get into the 90s like we thought they would in the losses. 100 was going to be tough, but they are in the low 90s. I think it is like 92, 93 or something like that. If I look it up, I forgot what it was, but it's somewhere around there. Season over, man, and nobody cares. Is that amazing? Does it bother them? You know what I love about the people that have run that organization? They blame everybody else but themselves. Jeffrey Lurie and company, what's it called? The idiot that went to Boston, what's his name? I forgot his name now, that little wussy ass whiner. I forgot anyway. So he whined also.
John Henry.
John Henry, yes, there you go. That loser. Anyway, so John Henry whined like a little bitch too, and they don't look at themselves in the mirror. And it's amazing. And Sherman, I hope you're not looking around and trying to blame anybody else and your attendance and all that. You don't do your part, dude. You have no commitment to winning. And nobody's going to believe you unless you start keeping players long term. The Panthers, it took them a while because they had ruined everything for decades. And so now, well, not decades, but 10, 12, 13, 14 years, and then these guys took over. And since then, they have shown commitment every year. They have committed money. They have signed players to long-term deals. They're making trades, and they're turning their franchise around. It won't happen overnight. I don't know if they're smart enough in the Marlins organization to figure that out. I really don't. You know, I'd love to see baseball succeed in this town. I'd like to go to a baseball game every once in a while. But if there's no commitments, it's, you know, you can watch some of it on television and, you know, but you still aren't going to get what you really want is a competitive team and an owner that actually wants to compete for a playoff spot. And that's what you don't have with the Marlins. It's a shame, man. Beautiful stadium. And there's always a couple of nice players on the team. You just don't complete it. Inter Miami, that is, will be back in action on Wednesday, taking on Orlando City. Huge game, playoff implications. An enormous win on Friday night it was against Toronto. Enormous win on Friday night. God, that was a big win for them. Probably the biggest win of the franchise's young history. And then this, obviously, would be an enormous one against Orlando City. And you win this game, I think you're locked into the playoffs. I think mathematically, if you win this one, I don't think, there's no way you get knocked out. Now, you lose this one, you put yourself at risk. That's what's going to end up happening. So let's hope that they can pull it off. Miami is favored by half a goal. Now, you've got to put minus 3,500 for that half goal. And if you want 1.5 goals, it's minus 400. So they're looking at Inter as the hot team, which they are. And Orlando City is plus a half goal for plus 1,100 and 1.5 goals at plus 295. So that's the betting line right now for that game tomorrow night. Can't wait for that game. I'm looking forward to it because I want to see Inter in the playoffs, man. Be cool to have Inter in the playoffs. You know, the summer team, the baseball team is never going to get there because they're not committed, but Inter is. Yeah, they made a bunch of mistakes early on, but Chris Henderson's fixing all that stuff, and eventually this will be a stud team, man. Moss will not have a mediocre team. All right, he made his mistakes. He'll fix them. He'll correct them. He's a good dude. He means well. He cares about this town. You know, that's the beauty of having people like this that are from here. They have pride in this. And the Moss family has pride in this. So they'll fix it. And they're already doing it. You know, they probably should have hired. I mean, that's how it is, right? You start a new business. You make all kinds of mistakes. You live and learn. You probably should have hired Chris Henderson in the first place. And you would have been a contender right now with Chris Henderson starting from the get-go. Seriously. Inter would have been a contender. So now it's going to take Chris Henderson a couple of years to clean up the mess. And he's done a really good job overall. They got one more year of financial limitations. And then the following year, he has full reign and freedom. And I think that will also help Chris Henderson. But he's already done a marvelous job, dude. Marvelous job. Excellent job to get them where they're at. So congratulations to Chris Henderson and Inter Miami putting themselves in this position after a really rough start and able to get this whole thing off the ground. So we'll see tomorrow night if they can get it done. San Francisco beat the Rams 24-9. How fun was watching Takk McKinley and Justin Hollins go at it, huh? When you got these two badasses and you're trying to separate them on the sidelines, that's not a fun thing. A lot of Dolphin fans wanted Takk McKinley too when he was available in free agency, so they just added him, and he joins the team by trying to get in fight with another teammate. There was a part of me that was like, you just got added to the team. I'm wondering if I'm going to see the Rams have released Takk McKinley today or tomorrow. It's just one of those things. You just wonder, because it almost looked, did you notice when they were having that? I don't know if did you watch the game yesterday and that altercation, Sean? You saw? No, you didn't. For those of you that were watching, then Takk is talking to a coach. And I don't know what he's talking about, but Tack's in the middle of almost like lifting his shirt. And I'm thinking, dude, is this guy about to put like an Antonio Brown on us? Like pull off his jersey and his equipment and walk off or something? Like, I almost got a feeling like in that conversation, like, Takk, you just got here. What do you want to do? Get cut right now? You're looking to get cut right here on the field? And it was like, it was weird. It was just one of those where like, wow. Okay. Deebo Samuel, for you fantasy guys, 6 for 115 and that beautiful touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 14 catches, 122 yards. Let me tell you something about Cooper Kupp. He's an exceptional receiver. Any way you want to slice it, he's an exceptional receiver, just like Adam Thielen. But these guys don't get the kind of credit at times that they deserve because they're white. It's the weirdest thing because you're not used to watching white receivers dominate. Let me just be honest here. Steve Largent was like that. You grow up with that. Now, when we go back to the 60s and what's the name of the guy, that played Raymond Berry for the Patriots? The guy that played for the Chargers that God, he was like they call him like a deer or something, or he had some kind of a nickname, or God, somebody help me out. I'm brain farting right now. That Lance Allworth. Back then, okay, that was the norm, right? But let's be honest now. The norm now is not for white receivers to dominate. And I think at times, guys like Cooper Kupp, guys like Adam Thielen, they put up the numbers and they're not put in the same categories as some of the other great receivers that we have in this league at times. And the numbers are there. And these guys are just exceptional at getting open. There is a way of playing the game at all levels. On the line, there is a technique that you should use. Besides your strength, besides your athleticism and your smarts, there are techniques that are going to help you with leverage and all kinds of things while you're at the line, correct? Offense or defense. When you're a wide receiver or you're a cornerback, there are things that you've got to do and learn in order to excel at your craft. If you're a corner, you've got to learn how to use the sideline as a defender so it can help you and try to keep the inside away from the wide receiver a lot of times, right? Different techniques that you all, some of you know about some of this stuff that I'm talking about. Everything has it. Well, wide receivers have it too. And those wide receivers that have a knack for finding the hole in the defense, that's a gift. Just like it's a gift to be able to leap over somebody or run past somebody, or what we were talking about before, Tyreek's hands in traffic. Oh my God, that is elite. His body control and hands. Clayton had that. Clayton was a sick-ass athlete, not just a great receiver. He was a sick-ass athlete. He could go up. He could sky in the air as high as anybody. He had body control, and he had hands that were like vice grips. But we marvel with those athletic guys. When you see a Justin Jefferson, you're like, wow, so young, so athletic. Tyreek Hill, you look around the league and you fall in love with the D-Hops of the world, and you should. But these guys are a little different. So they're not as athletic as those guys, but they are just as explosive because they move the chains, dude. And you can't stop them. The amazing part, like when I'm watching Waddle last year, I talked about this. Some of you idiots were like, well, why did they draft him? They should have drafted the Cincinnati kid. He's running downfield. They got Waddle catching 6-yard passes. All right, dummy, that the offense was requiring him to do that because he doesn't have time to go downfield because Tua would get killed, even though Tua loves to hold on to the ball and get killed. So what do you got to do? You got to adjust. And I love the toughness that Waddle showed me last year. Like, yeah, of course I'm a deep receiver and I can do all that, which you're not watching for you idiots out there that thought he couldn't. But I'll show you I can be a tough guy and play inside. It's not an easy thing. Not everybody can do that. Waddle showed you a lot of flexibility by doing what he did last year. Because what he's doing this year, it's not a surprise. Might be to some of you idiots out there that actually thought he was a 6-yard receiver. But you got to adjust. And guys like Thielen and Cooper Kupp, I've noticed that they don't get that kind of love because they're white. And they don't make the fantastic up in the air type of plays that D-Hop or Tyreek or Justin Jefferson or any of these cats that are around this league that are absolutely exceptional receivers. They're not going to bust a couple of tackles like Deebo Samuel last night. That's not who they are, but you can't cover them. I don't care who you are. He's going to get open. And that was the beauty of what I saw from Waddle last year. I don't care who you are. Tua's going to throw to him. You're not going to stop it, and Waddle's going to catch it. So Waddle showed me that he could also be that other kind of receiver too. It's impressive stuff, man. Impressive stuff. But I'm watching that yesterday, and Cooper Kupp, man, he is just, I just think of Steve Largent. Say what you want. Steve Largent wasn't going to be Jerry Rice, right? He just wasn't going to be Mark Clayton. He was never going to be that electric receiver. But he was going to be open all the time, and he was going to catch every ball in sight, and he was going to go to the Hall of Fame. And so will Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen. If those guys continue on their paces, you got to love it. It's amazing. Cowboys have an undrafted QB and winning. I think he was cut. Was he drafted by the Giants and then cut? Cooper Rush, I think you're talking about. Something like that, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But I thought he was a draft pick, and then they cut him. I want to say. Let me look it up here, because I want to say the Giants drafted him late, and then they cut him, if I'm correct. Let me see. And by the way, Cooper Rush has actually done a nice job. Cowboys have a decent team to support him. I will say that. Let me see. Cooper Rush, here he is. Free agent, college free agent, 17. Let's see. Player history. Free agent from Dallas in 2017. Waived by Dallas in 20. Claimed by the Giants in 20. Waived by the Giants in 20. Signed by the Giants practice squad. Then signed by the Dallas practice squad. Then Dallas activated him. Then Dallas put him on the practice squad again. Then Dallas signed him as a free agent in 21. He's been around since 17. So he's been in the league 5 years. So he's really not like a young quarterback. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is this a suggestion because of Skyler? Is this a stupid comparison? Is that what we're doing now? You're trying to justify Skyler? Is that what we're doing now? Hey, the Skylar Thompson suggestion is a stupid suggestion. And to try to back it up with a guy that might be winning now for a couple of games, and you don't really know if he's any good, but he's been in the league for 5 years, bouncing around practice squads. Don't know, bro. But if this was the argument why you're sent me that, wow, holy crap. So it's stupid, and then you want to keep trying to back up a stupid point with, by the way, a terrible suggestion, because at least it's a guy that's been in the league for 5 years. 5 years of walking in NFL locker rooms. In the same division, by the way, Giants, Dallas, Giants, Dallas, Giants, Dallas. So he's constantly watching film of each. You know, some of you out there, you're not very smart. You're really not. And you don't do your homework, because I bet you that person that sent Cooper Rush, he probably thought he was a rookie. Jay Hurd, I'm excited to see Teddy with a full week to prepare with the most explosive weapons he has had outside of Michael Thomas. We should see the best of Teddy with these weapons and this system. Hey, Jay Hurd, if that helps you sleep at night, my brother, go for it, my man. Go for it. Teddy Bridgewater has been mediocre, will be mediocre, and has always been mediocre. And don't ever forget that. Doesn't matter who he plays with, what he plays with, you're not getting an explosive offense. Now, could he get lucky? Could the sun shine on a dog's ass every once in a while? Go look at his career. Every once in a while, a quarterback that hangs around long enough, you'll have a couple of nice games. So let's hope for that, but don't hope for Teddy to be balling or whatever bullshit about playing the best of his career and all that shit. Please, dude. It's ridiculous. Just is. And by the way, the Vikings offense he had was loaded. Much better offensive line and running game that he had in Minnesota. So I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but he had talent in Minnesota. It's just he's not an electric quarterback. You know, you've played so many games. It's just, I don't know how many of you just keep talking yourselves into something that has never happened and never will happen. That's all. Just hope that he has a lucky day, that shit goes his way. He throws a couple passes that fall in the breadbasket and the guys take off and he has a hell of a game. You know, just hope that things go his way. But don't assume that because of everything around him, all of a sudden he's going to play like he never has. When the guy's played like in 70 games already in his career. He is what he is. That's it. It's over. It's not going to get any better. And by the way, his injuries over the years have only taken a toll on his body, have not helped him. So Jay Hurd, bro, if it helps you sleep at night, you can go ahead and convince yourselves of it. But my God, don't do it. You're making a major mistake. You're expecting big things there. I agree, Big O. I'm just hoping Teddy lives up to the hype. There is no hype, bro. There's no hype. There's no this best backup stuff. He's just a decent backup. That's it. Stop. There's no hype. Hype is created by people that don't know who Teddy Bridgewater is and what he's been his whole career. That's the problem. We have too many people in this town that are in love with Teddy because you have to fall in love with Teddy because he's a phenomenal young man. And then they see, like some guy said, oh, we need Louisville Teddy. This isn't college, dude. You're not playing in Conference USA or the ACC, another crappy conference or something. This is the NFL, dude. And he's been in it for years. And he's played 70 games. And he's proven to you that he can't average not even 2 touchdowns in a game. Those are the facts. Doesn't matter who he plays with. So stop it already. UK in talks with Norway to secure a gas contract of up to 20 years in a bid to avoid winter blackouts. Good for them. for them. If Biden only had a freaking brain, we'd drill a bunch of oil and gas and sell it to Europe and build our entire green grid. Wow, what a concept that would be. Let's see, how can we speed up getting green in our country? We have all this oil. Europe needs oil. Russia wants to be idiots. Great. Let's also weaken Russia by taking away its biggest customers. Wow, what a shocker. Beat them on the battlefield and then beat them in business. Whoa. But that would make too much sense. I mean, just tax us. I mean, that's the best way, right, Biden? Just tax the hell out of us. That's all. Things that happen in this country are just amazing. Teddy hasn't been hyped a top QB and hasn't no, but he's being hyped like the savior as a backup. And he's not a savior, bro. And you just saw Cam talk about how the perception that he's quarterback 25 in the league. And it's like, come on. Stop it. Stop it. Let's see. Being honest, but I'm weak right now. Honesty hurts. I'm not the show for fluff, bro. I'm not the show for fluff. I stand my ground. I'll tell you what I feel, and whether it's good or bad, I've had to fight the Tua fight for 2 years now. Thank the Lord that I'm finally coming out, out of that bunker, and I can come out and say, screw you all. You see, he's a baller. Now they can't say anything. Now they have to talk about his injury history now. But that's how it is. I had to fight the Tannehill fight for years, trying to convince me, no, he's not the guy. And then he goes to Tennessee, and a bunch of you people get all suckered by what's going on in Tennessee. And it's like, do you watch the games? Really? He's a facilitator, dude. He's not a difference maker. And wait till the game's on the line, and he's got to do something about it. Not going to happen. And then eventually, it took people up until this last season for the interceptions to finally agree with me. I got texts and DMs and all that, a bunch of you, which I give you credit, that you're like, dude, I always couldn't stand that you were always against Tannehill. But yeah, no, I see it took me a long time, but that's how it goes. We're not the show, bro. We're not the show to make you feel better because I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I may be right and I may be wrong, but Frankie says U.S. oil companies have increased drilling by 60%. Yeah, but are we selling to Europe? Frankie, that's for us to lower our own prices. We're not selling to Europe. Okay? That's my point. We should be we have gas resources and we have oil resources. Europe needs both. Okay? They've got all this issue with Russia. Dude, let's go. Let's sell it to Europe. Let's make a ton of cash and build our green highway. You want to do all that? You want to build all the windmills? You want to get all the lighting stations? Maybe you got to build some more nuclear power plants around the country because that's the clean energy, all this kind of stuff. If you really want to do this stuff, okay? Unfortunately, you may have to go the traditional route to produce the money so we can get to the point that we're all green. But that would make way too much common sense. I mean, why? It's just better to tax us. So, Frankie, thank you for the super chat. All right, let's have a super chat with Manny Navarro. And boy, the Canes have got themselves some issues. Yeah, and remember, we're at Walk-Ons in Kendall this Saturday starting at 2:00. All right. Gabby Arrudia is going to be part of our broadcast now. He'll be joining us in the pregame. Manny Navarro will be joining us in the postgame, straight from the locker rooms. So Gabby now becomes one of our exclusive insiders along with Manny Navarro. So Manny obviously breaking stories, giving you great insight. Gabby's a beast with all the recruiting stuff going on. He's hanging out, living with recruits. I don't know if he showers with recruits, but he's got all the insight on all the recruits. Everything They've got their hands in clubs, you name it, whatever. Gabby's all over it. They're dating this girl. They're dating that girl. I don't know how Gabby does it. I think he's got cameras in every high school in the state, maybe in the country. Just want you to know, Gabby Arrudia is watching your kids. So if you want to know if they attended class, just call Gabby. He'll tell you, yeah, let me check the camera. Yeah, he's there. That's it. Gabby's all over it. So he'll be with us also. He'll join us on Saturdays for the pregame show. And then on Mondays, he'll come back on Mondays and give us a wrap-up of him partying with all these recruits. Because that's what he does before and after games. I was talking to him yesterday. He says, yeah, I go out with them. We go clubbing. We make it rain all over. I'm joking, folks. Relax already, okay? Relax, because you might take me serious. Some of you might take me serious. No, but seriously, Gabby will be joining us Saturdays on the pregame show, and then on Mondays, kind of a wrap-up to get all the recruiting angles. So we are working hard to increase our coverage. We're still trying to find a home for our weekly Kane show. That's the next thing that we're going to do. Try to add that. So hang in there with us as the platform continues to grow. But join us at Walk-Ons in Kendall, Walk-Ons Sports Bistro. The food is so good there. Oh, my God. It is so awesome. So come on out. Mike and I will start the broadcast at 2 o'clock. We got Sean and Chad working the broadcast, and we've got a slew of people that are going to join us. So we'll get you ready for both. All right. Let's get ready for a little Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. There he is, the man covering the MASH unit known as the Miami Hurricanes. How you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
Doing great, O. Came back from Tallahassee over the weekend, went up there and saw the Seminoles finally lose a game. So I got to watch that Wake Forest offense. That was good.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second, because Canes fans I hear now are putting together GoFundMe pages so they ship you up there for every FSU game. Okay, I'm just saying. That's what I heard.
I am the jinx, bro.
Yeah. You're the bad luck schlep rock. Oh, wowsy, woo woo. All right. Most of you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, brother, listen, man.
What's he talking about? Like, yeah, I get it. You didn't watch Bam and Pebbles and all that stuff. I can't help you, bro. What do you want me to do if you weren't watching Bam and Pebbles? That was a must-see television back in the day. All right, Manny. So let's start off with the injuries. My brother, this is not what I want to hear going into this game, that there's an entire MASH unit going on right now.
Yeah, man, you play this physical brand of football, right? That's what Mario said they were going to come out and do.
Middle Tennessee.
And now they're all falling down like flies, right? I mean, you're losing guys to shoulders, concussions, all kinds of different things. Yeah, I mean, you may only be down to one scholarship running back on Saturday, because we don't know the status of Jalen Knighton. We don't know the status of Henry Parrish, how long they'll be out. We just know that Mario's not answering questions when it comes to health, really. Anytime we do ask any health questions, I mean, it's some of the best blocking I've ever seen. Mario and Kevin Steele. I mean, the blanket coverage Kevin Steele gives us when I ask him about Tyreek Stevenson is unbelievable. It's he knows how to do some one-on-one coverage there of preventing me from getting to where I want to go. So, yeah, I just think be ready for tweets on Saturday when I'm out there watching warm-ups and telling you who's sidelined and who isn't.
Offensive line issues too, and there's one guy that I constantly hear about him just like the Rooster. There's one offensive lineman, Zion, that is he always injured, or is this just me overreacting?
Yeah, I think this year, unfortunately, anytime you have one of those summer surgeries, right, and you try to come back and you're probably not really 100%, you're just going to be dealing with it. It's going to be one of those lingering things, and unfortunately for Miami, it's one of those injuries that it looks like it's going to linger with them all year.
How many did he miss last year?
I think he was available for almost all of the games. He had minor things he was dealing with, but nothing major. I mean, he was around.
Did he leave some? Did he? Okay, so then what did he do? Leave some of the games last year? Did he leave a couple games? I want to say
it was sort of the same issue at the beginning of the year. He was dealing with something, but it seemed to me like he was further along in his recovery than he was this year, right? Because he missed most of camp, if not all of camp, for Miami this year. I don't think that was the case last year. I think last year it was more like a week that he was dealing with something, and then he came back and participated in camp. So to me, it's when you have the surgery, right? If you have surgery right before the season and they say, oh, you'll be back in 6 to 8 weeks, and then you go out there and you start playing on it, those are 6 to 8 weeks where you weren't doing anything, and your body has to acclimate to being that way, and you can have setbacks. And that's what happened to him. He essentially had a setback with the knee, and so now it's going to be one of those games that you play where all season long he's probably going to be dealing with this.
So let me ask you something. How in the hell is UM favored in this game?
I have no idea. I mean, if I was a gambling man, I'd go put a lot of money on North Carolina.
I know. Like, have they watched the UM secondary?
Vegas must know something we don't.
Offense? Yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm looking at all these injuries. It's not a good team. I'm sorry. It's not Mario's fault, but he inherited a mediocre team. It's got no secondary against a team that lights it up on offense.
Yeah.
I have no idea why Miami is favored by 4. I totally understand the over and under 66 because North Carolina will probably score 45 or 50 of those 66 on Saturday. It's not that I'm wishing that the U loses. It's just I'm sorry. I see no reasons for the University of Miami to be favored in this game whatsoever. North Carolina, for me, is way better right now than they are. It's baffling, dude.
And I would say that they're also coming off their best defensive game of the season. I know it was Virginia Tech, but still, I mean, considering how horrible they were the first, 4 games of the season defensively, I think they held Virginia Tech to under 100 yards rushing, 41-10 win. And they're kind of coming off their most impressive overall performance as a team. So I don't get it either. Miami's in trouble in this game. I mean, they need Tyler Van Dyke to get it right and to be the Tyler Van Dyke that he was over the last 6 games of last season. They're going to need the offense. They're going to need guys on offense to step up that haven't stepped up in the past and delivered. Thad Franklin's been a solid complementary player, but if he's got to be the lead horse and carry the ball 25, 30, 35 times in this game, I'm not sure that he can do it. It's one thing to do it in a complementary role. It's another thing to be the primary guy. So, and then you have Elijah Arroyo, who's dealing with an injury. He's, he started 3 games this year at tight end for you. A lot of double tight end sets. So maybe Miami comes out with the Wildcat and we're all stunned. Maybe they pull sort of the what the Dolphins did to the Patriots back in the day with Ronnie Brown, and that's what Vegas knows. Maybe Mario told Vegas what's happening, and the rest of us are just all in the dark.
Listen, man, I hope they're right. I hope they know something that we don't, because it's not what I've been seeing the last couple of weeks from this team. And I'm watching North Carolina light it up, and I'm like, wow. I saw that line, and I said, I don't really like betting against my favorite teams, but I don't know why anybody would bet for Miami in this game. It's just odd. No changes at quarterback as expected. And I'm with Mario on this one, by the way. I don't think you crap on your quarterback after a terrible outing. Plus, you and I have talked about this. I'm not a fan of what Gaddis has done with this offense and his players. He has square pegged in a round hole the entire time, when he should understand the talent he has. The great coaches adjust their offenses to what they have on the field. And I don't think Gaddis has done a good enough job of saying, I need to be flexible here until I get my players in here for my offense. But for now, I'm going to have to add some of the elements of the prior offense, because these guys will excel in that kind of a system. And to me, that's where I would not crap on Tyler Van Dyke so quickly. And I'm glad that Mario Cristobal at least did that. The question is, will Gaddis adjust?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's remains to be seen, right? I mean, obviously, look, one thing I'll say in all this is Mario obviously has a hand in what offense Gaddis runs, right? I mean,
of course,
we can't just say that the coordinator is running rampant here with his own plan. Mario obviously checks off on this stuff, right? He approved it. So to me, yes, Tyler Van Dyke has struggled. He's not playing in the same up pace offense, tempo offense that they were last year, and it's obvious that he's struggling without being in that. Now, Gaddis has run a few tempo plays. The problem is receivers are dropping balls. They're not executing when he calls for that offense to try to catch teams off guard or to kind of just get them, off balance a little bit. So is he going to tailor it? I think so. I think they have no choice, after what they've seen through these first 4 games. Now, does that mean Miami's going to run the ball less? There's going to be less 3rd and 1 obvious run calls? I don't know. I mean, Mario, again, puts the stamp of approval on all this stuff. So I think, they've had a week. There's no excuses. North Carolina comes in as the worst defense in the ACC against the run, most yards and points given up this season. So, to me, this is a game where you should be able to make offensive adjustments and at least keep yourself in the game scoring wise, even if your defense doesn't get their act together against what should be one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year.
Any changes do you think happen in the secondary?
I think they have no choice. I think they have no choice. I mean, I think number one, they've got to play much more zone defense. There's, you've obviously trusted guys in man-to-man, and it's burned you. I think Kevin Steele's smart enough. Yeah, I mean, I think Kevin Steele's a smart enough and experienced enough coach to know now after 4 games that, there's certain guys you have to believe that they can't be trusted in certain situations. So I think there's going to be adjustments made.
DJ Ivy. I'm sorry.
There's going to be adjustments made in this game, but I think also injuries all play a factor. I mean, Tyreek Stevenson, I don't know if it's a groin injury, if it's a foot. He's a guy. He's another one. You talk about Zion Nelson being hurt. Tyreek Stevenson's always dealing with something. Okay?
Always, yeah. Another one.
And Darryl Porter Jr. took a couple big licks in this last game against Middle Tennessee. He's the kid who came in from West Virginia, a kid who was a starter in the Big 12 and had a good year last year. He's basically been, the 3rd or 4th cornerback in most games. Is he healthy to play? I don't know. So they're going to have to do something going into this game to catch North Carolina off guard. They're going to have to surprise them in some way, shape, or form. And I know if the defensive line doesn't show up, if they're not getting pressure, and playing good containment against Drake May, because Kevin Steele, the comparison he gave him was Josh Allen. I mean, the big-bodied frame, a guy who can run.
I watched it. I'm terrified of this game, dude. Terrified of this game.
It could be really ugly if Miami has another bad day. If they play their assignments, maybe they get fortunate enough where this kid makes a couple mistakes. They throw something new at him he hasn't seen. You get a couple turnovers, and that keeps you in the ball game. But I'm like you. I don't have a lot of confidence going into this game that Miami's defense can be able to contain him.
And let me tell you something. It gives me less confidence if you want to play zone. You know why? You just can't switch like that. You just cannot switch like that. It does not happen where all of a sudden in the middle of a season you go from a man secondary to a zone, and now everybody's got to be in sync all the time and picking each other up. And I think that is a very difficult system to run if you're not running it on a consistent basis where it naturally comes. And if you've got changes coming up in the secondary, that just clouds the whole situation up too, because there's no continuity, there's no chemistry. And that is so important with a zone instead of a man, where it's a little different. There's a little bit more flexibility there, let's say, for the players.
Well, what I would say is I don't want to see any cover one. And I think that's been an issue at times where they've decided, hey, we're going to leave one safety back there to save our rear ends. And, you can't do that. I think it has to be cover 3 against this offense. And you're going to give up underneath stuff, but it's going to be up to your linebackers, your the guys underneath to make plays, and for those defensive linemen to chase and hold containment. This is not going to be a pretty game on Saturday, I have a feeling. Like you.
No, I'm terrified of this game. I think it's a loss. I think they're going to lose because I have not seen the defense or the secondary to be able to stay with that offense. And then your offense isn't really electrifying either because you have no playmakers. And so I don't know. I don't know what. No, Vegas confuses me because they're not stupid, Manny. All they do is build castles over there.
Yes,
that are just,
that's why I'm saying maybe Mario sent them the game plan. It's something totally new that we haven't seen that they know is going to work for sure against North Carolina.
They build hotels so big that they build them big enough that you don't even want to walk to your car or walk outside. So you just stay there to buy everything because, oh, let's go to the next hotel. No, bro, the next hotel's a mile away by the time we get there. No. It's like 4 blocks to go from the lobby to your room. So they do this on purpose. They know something that we don't all the damn time. This is weird, bro. Weird. So you're with me. You predict that. What else are you concerned about going into this game?
Well, the health. I mean, obviously that's the long-term issue here, right? I'm worried that this might not be a bowl team this year if they lose any more players, just because you're going to have to start throwing guys out there. And by the way, I know we don't pay attention to what else is going on in the ACC, but like the 2 worst teams besides Miami are Virginia and Virginia Tech, right? In terms of just putting up absolute duds in the division. Those are both road games this year, places where Miami always struggles when they have to go on the road. Duke is 4-1. They're playing really well. Yes, they have to come down here. We already talked about North Carolina. Pittsburgh, I know, just lost. Georgia Tech, though, won on the road and won in Pittsburgh. So they're not like a dead animal that's just waiting, for
this team will struggle to beat anybody, bro.
Yeah, and then your other ACC games are Clemson on the road, which no way, and then Florida State who's 4-1. So, I mean, that's why I said this last week, this could very well not be a bowl team this year if these injuries are as bad as we think they might be.
Yeah, no. At this point, I might pick FAU over Miami. N'Kosi Perry, baby, lighten it up. Anyway, all right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. Following your Canes, no matter how painful it might be as of late. Join us, please, at Walk-Ons in Kendall this Saturday, starting off at 2 o'clock. We'll be there by 1 o'clock, so come on out, get a table. Place is ginormous, super high roofs. The roof is like 30 feet tall, and there's TVs everywhere. What a gorgeous bar, ginormous, gorgeous bar. So come on out and join us off 162nd and Kendall Drive, Walk-Ons Sports Bistro. Manny, as always, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Good talking, Nito. Enjoy Saturday. Wish I could be there with you guys, but I'll tell you, Walk-Ons is a great place. I've been to a bunch of them in the Southeast. This is the first one I think they've built in South Florida, right? I don't remember seeing many others,
they only have 3 in Florida: Kissimmee, Orlando, and Miami. And the manager we're dealing with, she runs all 3 of them. So yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And you never know, down the line, I might do a show in the Kissimmee or Orlando area because you never know, they might be part of the Gridiron Roundtable. So up in that area, there's a lot of Florida State and Gators.
Well, let me know. I'll make the drive up.
Yeah. We'll have some fun. We'll bring Ira down or somebody like that.
We'll
have some fun with that. All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Have a good week. All right.
You too, man. Take care.
You got it. We'll talk to Manny in the post-game show. And don't forget Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com. Order over $99 if you go to caneswear.com, and you will get free shipping. They've got anything and everything with a logo. Inter Miami gear. We got the playoffs. Let's go, baby. Dolphins. Tua will be back, taking you to the playoffs. Relax. Panthers start next week. You can start getting on that bandwagon. The Marlins will probably be in clearance. So you can get on down there and check it out, man. Heat gear. They've got it all for you at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. That is Caneswear. And that's Manny Navarro in our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Joseph Bell goes, Big O, get off that BS about Tua holding on to the ball. That had nothing to do with him getting the concussion against Buffalo. You're going to get hit in this game. He shouldn't have been playing in Cincinnati. Sir, he got concussed in Buffalo probably, and he came back and balled out in the second half. And in Cincinnati, he was balling out. And he held the ball for 5 seconds. So you get the F out of here, bro, with that bullshit. All right? So all this stuff, get off your soapboxes. The guy, the concussion that happened on Thursday night had nothing to do with Sunday. Zero. It had to do with holding the ball for 5 seconds. So, Joseph Bell, if you're not smart enough to figure that out, that you can't hold the ball for 5 seconds in the NFL, or you're going to get slammed. The Buffalo one is not his fault. That was a dirty play by Milano. But he hit himself, and then he came back and balled out. We're all different. He recovers quickly. Ethan Carter does not. And on Thursday, no one in the world can tell me that Sunday had anything to do with Thursday because the kid was balling. He made the same stupid-ass decision he has made throughout his career at Alabama or now at the Dolphins. He holds on to the ball too much. Period. End of story. That's it. That's where his injuries come from. He held on to the ball too long, blew out his hip. Held on to the ball too long, blew out his ankle. Held on to the ball on Thursday night too long and got seriously concussed. No one's to blame here except Tua Tagovailoa. He has to learn to make better decisions on the field. That's the reality. And if those of you want to get on your soapboxes, media, fans, whatever, you're all wrong. You're all wrong. Tua can fix this problem on his own. And if he doesn't, his career's over. Simple. Because if you keep holding on to the ball and keep taking those hits, only one thing's going to happen. That's it. He will not have a long playing career. It's up to him now. So if any of you think that Thursday had anything with Sunday, you are dead ass wrong. He was balling. None of that can be argued, can be denied. He wasn't struggling. He wasn't missing people. He wasn't making mistakes. He wasn't looking all discombobulated or anything like that. He was sharp. Did he get too cocky with the interception? Of course, because he was lighting them up like a Christmas tree. And he got a little too cocky, and he didn't let go of the ball when he's supposed to, and didn't put enough on it. Interception. But he did not look like he was concussed in playing in that game at any point whatsoever. He did what he always does. He holds on to the damn ball too much. That's it. So stop with this shit. Thursday had nothing to do with Sunday. Zero. Should he be in the game? Of course not. I get it because he's at risk because he had a concussion on Sunday probably. It looked like a concussion. I get that part, but don't tell me that it was affecting his game because it was not. What affects his game every time is the bad decision of holding on to the football. That's what affects his game. That's what affects his body. That's why he breaks down. Most of his injuries have been from bad decisions. He's got to learn to stop making bad decisions. Don't know how many times I can say it, but clearly people like Joseph Bell don't get it. Juice F5, thank you for the love in the super chat. Oh, should Tua hit the weight room more, gain some bulk to take these hits? No. Throw the ball away. No. Juice, Breeze didn't take those hits. Greasy doesn't take those hits. Tarkenton didn't take those hits. Montana didn't take those hits. It's the same dude. I keep telling you, Tua is Montana. But Montana got rid of it. Montana didn't get a bad hit till late in his career when he got that back hit. And then the back went out on him, and obviously they sent him to Kansas City. But overall, these smaller quarterbacks, they get rid of the football, dude. They don't hang on to it. You never, ever, 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 ever want to adjust to taking hits. Not even if you're Ben Roethlisberger, bro. If you're Cam Newton, I get it. You can take them, but you should not, because those hits take a toll on you. You only get so much. So it's not about Tua getting more bulk, because you can't do weights for your head. And that's what we're talking about. The guy's hit his head twice in the last week. But it's one of them was his fault, and that was the second one. I don't blame him for the first one. That was a dirty play by Milano. Should have been fined and suspended for that. You should be fined and suspended for horse collar tackles. Every horse collar tackle that happens, you need to be fined and suspended for a game. And if the player gets injured on that horse tackle, as long as that player's out, you're out. And if you ragdoll a player, okay, which, I've heard all these excuses. He didn't have to slam Tua. He wanted to slam Tua. And by the way, a Dolphin player slammed a player 2 weeks ago also, okay, in a tackle. You slam a player to the ground, I don't care who you are, suspension and fine. And the player you slammed is out for weeks, you're suspended for weeks. I mean, if you really want to protect these players, there are dangerous tackles that you can just tackle. Dude, you're 300 pounds. You had Tua in your grasp. Just bring him down. You don't need to slam him. Right? We see it now where these athletes try not to land on the quarterback now. Have you noticed that? They're conscious of it. Make them conscious of this. I still see horse collar tackles. Why are they still happening? Because you're allowing them to happen. Oh, because it's just a penalty. Okay, who cares? Hey, coach, we got a penalty. Yeah, but you got the player out. Way to go. I'll take the 15 yards. No problem, bro. I get it. But you got the player out. Horse collar still happening. You want to do something about this? Do you really want to protect players? Well, you're going to have to eliminate some of these, the hits to the knee, right? You eliminated those, right? You eliminated the cut blocking, right? You're eliminating things. You eliminated the wedge on special teams, right? Well, then let's go, bro. Horse collar. Why is it still happening? Because you really don't do anything about it. What, a little penalty? Screw the penalty, dude. You know how injured you can get in a horse collar tackle? How many times you watch a player get all bent up in a horse collar tackle? It's disgusting, and it still happens. So you should not be able to ragdoll a player. You should not be able to. This is not wrestling. This is not the Sean Stanley inside the ring slamming some fool down to the ground. Can't do it, bro. Well, what are those? Well, Sean's not here right now, but those. I don't know what you guys. I'm not a wrestling person, but whatever, those flips and whatever you guys call them out there. Can't do that, man. Can't do that. So if you really want to protect players, well, then you need to start actually doing something about what's going on with them overall. All right, we're 2 hours into the program. I have yet to take a real commercial break whatsoever. Does that happen anywhere else? I doubt people can actually even do that. But we do it here all the time. So what I need from you is to give me 2 minutes to rest my voice, have a little honey and lime, and chill out a little bit here. Give us a memento here, and we will be back and ready for hour number 3.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Well,
why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths. In South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, there we go. Back for hour number 3 of the program. Sean Stanley, of course, mastering this show every single day. Thank you, Big O, for recognizing the truth. Tua has done one of 3 things. 1, ran and got what he could, then slide, ran out of bounds, gave a fan a game-used NFL ball. But he refuses to do that. And I'm telling you, the first time he has a press conference that I know he's talking, I will be there front and center, and I will ask the question that I guess nobody has ever had the balls to actually ask him and directly. And so somebody needs to ask him because nobody wants him to succeed more than I do, obviously, because I'm the one that's put my ass out there on the line for him from the get-go. So I believe in the kid, and I think he's proven what I believe in. He's a baller, dude. He's a baller. That's what I love about Tua. He is a baller. He wants to win no matter what, but he's got to learn there's a price you cannot pay. And that's what I'm hoping. And I there has to be a moment where most of us learn. I'm not saying all, because some of us will continue to make the same dumb mistakes. Yours truly is one of them, right? I mean, you know, I have 5 stents in my heart. Why? Because I've had a weight issue, and I still have a weight issue, and I, should be skinny so I can take care of myself, and I don't, and I'm an idiot. Okay. But I'm willing to look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm being stupid about this. Okay. But some of us aren't willing to do that. And so you got to be willing to also change, because if not, that's painful. I don't know what it's like to dislocate a hip and have to rehab it, but I don't want to feel it. That's for sure. I don't know what it's like to blow out your ankles to the point that you're like, let's get this Kevlar wire to my ankle so that way it's stronger than ever. It's like, okay, sure, let's do that. He's got to learn to not take those hits, man. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. Suplex or fireman takedown. Okay, I'll take the fireman takedown. That sounds like I've never even heard. I think I've heard of the suplex, but a fireman takedown. Okay, what would you call the flip of Tua? A fireman takedown or a suplex? Because you're the wrestling guy.
I mean, if anything, it would have been more of a belly-to-back suplex. A fireman's carry is when they flip you over the shoulder.
Oh yeah,
when they go to their knees and they flip you over the shoulder. That's a fireman's carry.
Oh, those are cool, actually. When you're like on the shoulder and then they take you down.
No, that's a standing suplex. That's a standing suplex.
Okay.
Yeah. In wrestling, a fireman's carry is when the person goes down to the knees and flips you over their shoulders, basically. As they rotate over.
Okay. Crazy. So they suplexed his ass. Yeah, no more suplexing in the NFL. That's for wrestling. Okay. How long does it take for a receiver to run 40 yards? 3 seconds? Maybe. Something like that. And 3 seconds he normally wouldn't have. Big O, what about a face mask? I feel like when defenders get beat, the reason they're grabbing yeah, you know what? I love that too. That should be a heavy fine. Those people that pull on the mask and the neck. Hell, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. If now you were reaching for somebody, you grab the mask, but you let go or whatever, and it's still a face mask. I'm a little hesitant on that one because you could grab anything, and unfortunately, it's a face mask. The guy lowers his head. You were trying to grab the shoulder pad or whatever, and he lowers, and you run into. Yeah, it's when you pull. It's when you use the face mask as the tackle. I'm with you there. That's when, like the neck is being pulled and down, and then you got no choice. You're going with it because, dude, what are you going to do? Try to go the other way and break your neck? No, you've got to go with it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that guy that's running through the hole and the helmet gets spun around. Oh, please. Yeah, find the crap out of that person and suspend them. I mean, if you really want to take care of players, right? You want to talk this shit about taking care of players? Well, then take away the incredibly dirty calls. The horse collar. That when you start telling people you will be suspended for a horse collar, and by the way, you do it again, it should be double the suspension, regardless if the player's injured or not. And if you do it again, maybe you should be kicked out of the league. How about that? Horse collar is the most dangerous tackle I've ever seen, outside of just directly going to somebody's knees or their head. That's a disgusting. I find that to be an incredible, the most dirty tackle that exists is the horse collar, because the player always gets bent up in a weird way. You always, like when you see a horse collar, you cringe right away because you almost feel like a knee's going to snap. And it's a disgusting tackle. That's the one that you should be suspended for things like this. That you really want to protect the players, you really want to send a message, this is what you do. You've got them hitting here now, right? Because they can't hit here and they can't hit in the knees. Well, you know what? When you corral somebody, don't slam them. Don't slam them. That's a dirty hit, man. What they did to Tua. Both hits were dirty. The Buffalo hit and the Cincinnati hit. But the Cincinnati hit should have been avoided. Can't take 5 seconds. You can't take 3.5 seconds. You're already risking at 3 in this league. 5 seconds Tua took to, no, man, that's your fault, dude. Had nothing to do with Sunday. It's the laziest thing in the world to blame the second concussion on the first one. The laziest thing in the world. It's a habitual problem that Tua has. And he will be asked about it eventually. Trust me, because I will be the one to ask him. He better start getting rid of that damn football. Big O, if Tua has a great season, what position are you drafting with the first round pick? Frankie, I'm not worried about that. I don't give a shit about the draft right now, my man. Why would I care about the draft right now? I care about the Dolphins. I want Tua back onto the field. I want the Dolphins to get to the playoffs. I want them to maybe make a playoff run. You know, I'm going to worry about that. When the season is over, then we will talk draft. Now, when they used to be a crap team, you know, like they have been for many, many years, yeah, by week 8, we're probably talking the draft because we kind of know how crappy the team is. But this is a very good team that just needs to get Tua back to be a contender. And this is not the time or the place to talk about any kind of draft or anything like that. I don't care about the draft. I don't give a rat's ass about the draft right now. I care about the Dolphins in the season that they're playing in right now. I'm excited about the Dolphins. I just need to see Tua back. You get Tua back, and now you will. It's funny because Will from Cutter's Edge Pro just sent me a text, and he goes, it's hilarious how they all were saying he couldn't play, and now that he could play, they're all saying, well, if he's out, the Dolphins will have trouble competing. And it's so true. We had so many people that didn't think that Tua could be a franchise quarterback, i.e. my boy Joe Shad, who's should be coming up here in a minute. And, you know, guys like Poupard and all that they weren't believers in him, right? Or heavy doubters like Joe Shad was. And listen, there was a lot of, you know, Joe Shad will tell you, well, no, early on I wanted him. Yeah, but you flip-flopped. You John Kerry'd on my ass. You know, you were flip-flopping constantly. Sorry. No. There's no flip-flopping here. There's no fence straddling here on this show. You make your bed, and now you lie in it. That's all. Pretty simple. So I've been fighting for this kid, but I want him to fight for himself. Protect himself. Let's hope he can get it done. Bring back American Gladiators. Hell yeah. Oh, once Tua comes back, if he gets another concussion, is his career over? I don't know, dude. I have no idea. Troy, I mean, Jordan Reed had 9 or 10 of them or 12 of them in his career, and the NFL kept playing him. It's up to Tua. That's all. You're asking me something that I have no answer to. No one can have an answer to. You know, here's my only answer. I hope he never suffers another concussion again. I hope he finally learns his lesson from all of this. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not going to worry about him getting another concussion. I'm not going to worry about him never playing the game again. You know, you guys bog yourselves down with stuff you cannot control. Let's live in the moment, man. It's pretty good right now. We just got to get Tua back. And they can have a hell of a season. Big O, how does Teddy under center change the offense? You may have to rewind, my man. I already talked about that. And what I think they're going to do with Teddy. It's all there. All right, let's go. Let's talk to the man, the myth, the legend. That is Joe Shad. He's always into hijinks. And with our hijinkssportsgrill.com Miami Dolphins report.
Dolphins fans, it's time to talk to the man with incredibly high standards. It's not easy to score an A or grade 10 out of 10 with this guy. In fact, he isn't impressed with Joey Chestnut's dominance, Usain Bolt's speed, or even Van Ginkel's locks. Will the hijinks continue? Can the Miami Dolphins do the impossible by getting a passing grade with Joe Shad? It's time for the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive 1 free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Joe Shad.
There he is. Joe Shad. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
What's up, Big O? Doing okay today?
Okay, I like that. I like that. Your thoughts on the whole Tua situation and how it's being handled and going forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Dolphins are going to be cautious with Tua. Not a surprise that Mike McDaniel has already announced that Tua won't play against the Jets. That'd be 10 days after the most recent injury. 17 days, we'll see. We'll see how Tua's feeling. It's certainly encouraging that Tyreek Hill says he's, in the facility, in the locker room, smiling, seems fine. Those are all positives. The fact that Mike McDaniel said that the MRIs, which were certainly evaluated by multiple doctors, came back clean. So those are positive things on the Tua front. But certainly in the meantime, I think Teddy Bridgewater can do a capable job holding things down.
Yeah, I think it'll be pulling teeth to win with Teddy because I think they'll change things up and play a lot of short passing game with him. I don't think you'll see as many deep shots like you did with Tua. I think those kind of things will change. Are you surprised because as many injuries as he suffered? We watched Ethan Carter, who's been out for like 3 weeks already, and probably going to be another week of him being out with a concussion. Everybody's different. This kid seems to actually heal quickly from all these damn injuries that he suffers. Even the concussion, for him to be cleared right away to fly back, and now the MRI is all cleared. It's crazy. I mean, even with the hip, he was back in 10 months playing on an NFL field and getting slammed by Michael Brockers. He, as many injuries as he's had, he does have a tendency of bouncing back pretty quickly from these injuries.
Yeah, and the Dolphins need to, make sure that they protect Tua from himself at times.
Disagree.
Disagree.
But go ahead.
I remember that at Alabama, there was a serious ankle injury, and they did some sort of stitching procedure, whatever it was, where they held it together with.
It was a Kevlar wire. Yes.
Yeah, they held it together with a bungee cord and some duct tape and rolled him out there. And, was that in Tua's best interest? I don't know, so let's just make sure that we keep Tua's best interest, top and forefront of everyone's mind. And the Dolphins will, and the NFL will make sure that anytime the NFL is in the spotlight on shows like Good Morning America, talking about player safety and concussions, there's obviously going to be, listen, hey, I'm sure the memos went out, Let's be careful.
Yeah, I just think this is a whole bunch of drama bullshit that's going on because nobody's really talking about really the real problem. And the real problem is Tua Tagovailoa. It's not the doctors. It's not the NFL. It's not the NFLPA. He took 5 seconds on that play in Cincinnati. He was balling. It had nothing to do with Sunday. He hung on to the goddamn ball too long, and he took a sack that he shouldn't. Just like when he blew out his hip, he hung on to the ball too long, and he allowed a fat guy to catch him to blow out it. 2 fat guys to catch him to blow out his hip. The one of his ankle injuries that he blew out was also hanging on to the ball too long. He does this all the time. Most of his own problems come from him, not from anybody else, not from blaming the coaches, not blaming the NFL, not blaming anybody. Tua Tagovailoa, and I am his biggest supporter and his biggest fan, but I am the most brutally honest person out there. Tua Tagovailoa is his own worst enemy. You cannot take 5 seconds to release a football. You cannot play Ryan Tannehill football in the NFL, especially if you're built like Tua Tagovailoa. So he needs to learn to get rid of the football, Joe. Most of his big injuries have all come. And Saban even talked about this when he was at Alabama. He said Tua's problem is that he hangs on to the ball too long, waiting to make a play instead of getting rid of the football. And as I've told the other guys that have come on, the next time he has a press conference, I will be front and center, and I will start the press conference by asking him straight up about this because everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. Tua needs to point fingers at himself and look in the mirror. He's his own worst enemy. Get rid of the goddamn football, Tua, and you will live a lot longer and less injuries. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Tua will acknowledge that there are times where he needs to get rid of the football quicker. I think one of the things he's trying to do is prove that he can, extend the play and make more plays down the field. And obviously that does take time. The protection has been a little bit better. But, it is, I guess, unfortunate that, you're suggesting that his frame plays a role in needing to
I never
take
said
less
that.
hits.
No, that's your negativity towards Tua phrasing that shit. I never said that.
You just said
No. Hold on. Joe Montana didn't take those.
You referenced his size.
Exactly, because Joe Montana doesn't take those hits. He didn't take one till almost the end of his career. Neither did Drew Brees, and neither did Fran Tarkenton. When you're built like this, you need to use your brain, Joe. Okay? And I'm not his frame. We know what his frame is. Everybody knows what your frame is. Warwick Dunn knew what his frame was, and so did Barry Sanders, and they were exceptional at not taking the big hit, playing a very difficult position to avoid the big hit. Well, the quarterbacks have to do the same thing. Breeze got rid of the ball. And by the way, the other thing that I will tell Tua, don't quote Dan Marino, pick a guy and let it fly. Because if you watch Dan Marino's entire career, when the play was going to die, he let it fly also. Nobody better in the history of the NFL at letting it fly when the play was going to die than Dan Marino. So if he's going to be educated about Dan Marino, let me educate him that Dan Marino lived for the next play, the next series, the next quarter, the next game. He has to learn that. It's not about his frame because he's not built to take hits, just like Breeze isn't. This has nothing to do with his frame. This
You
has
just
to
said
do with
you hold on.
his decision making.
No. That's fine.
Decision making.
You literally just said, "quote He's not built to take hits."
Right.
So this is a factor here. So this is
it's not a factor.
It's
his
a
brain
concern.
is the factor here. No, it's not a concern.
Not
because
a concern.
Breeze had a lot.
Quote.
He's not built
to take hits. Quote.
I just gave you three
you like
guys
to
that are
take
going.
my quotes. All right, and make a big
I
deal
just
out
gave
of
you
it.
3 out of 4 guys that were built the same way and had Hall of Fame careers. And why? Because they didn't take the hits. You can't take the hits at this size. That's just the way it is. But how do you avoid them, Joe? With your brain. He's got to let go of the ball, dude. 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds. You were just talking about they're giving him more than enough time to pass the ball. The clock has got to go off in his head. The play's dead. Let it go. I'm not Mr. Athletic. I don't have Kyler Murray's wheels. I don't have Russell Wilson's wheels. Neither did Joe Montana. Neither did any of those other dudes that I've talked about. They got rid of the football, Joe. His problem is his decision-making. That's what's getting him in trouble. That's my point.
All right. So Tua needs to work on his decision-making.
Big time.
Okay. So there you go. So we agree. And by the way, your viewers and your listeners have heard you reference Tua needing to, quote, use his brain. Okay.
Yes.
And I guarantee you that they are thinking what I'm thinking, which is, okay, well, let's make sure that brain bruise is healed up. All right.
Right.
Before
but
he
that
he
decision
returns
on
to practice.
Thursday. Okay, but let's get this straight. What happened on Thursday night, did it have anything to do with Sunday? Anything?
I don't know. Who knows? No, we'll never know. I mean,
No. We do know, Joe. It was a bad decision that got him sacked and slammed because he held the ball for 5 seconds. Time the play, 5 seconds. That's why we're only having this conversation. The only way we're having this conversation, if he throws the ball away at 2.5 seconds, Joe, do you know what happens? He finishes that game. They probably win. Nobody ever talks about what happened on Sunday. It's water under the bridge. But his dumb decision of hanging onto the football is what concussed him, is my point.
Yeah, but you just asked me if I thought that Thursday's injury was related to Sunday.
Yes.
And I'm telling you that no one knows that answer. We don't know, and we'll never know. The thing that the NFLPA is saying is let's use extreme caution. Now, Bill Belichick comes out, I think it was today, okay, and he's piling on a little bit, just like John Harbaugh, and I don't necessarily agree with this with the piling on, but he says, "Oh, there are times where I've had a player cleared to return after a head evaluation, and I've held them out." So I do think it is a little bit unfair that these other coaches are starting to pile on and kind of trying to paint Mike McDaniel in a bad light. I don't agree.
Yeah, I
with
know.
that.
And Bill Belichick has all the credibility in the world. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anybody that listens to Bill Belichick and actually believes all the words that come out of his mouth, my bro, I've got a bridge for you in the Keys. Seriously. I mean, Rex Ryan was doing the same thing. Quickly, they pulled out a Tyrod Taylor highlight of him flat out knocked out and then coming back and playing under Rex Ryan. They're all full of crap, dude. And Belichick, is there a bigger liar, cheater, deceiver in the history of the NFL? I doubt it very much. Bill Belichick, please, don't talk about anything. You have zero credibility. How about this, Bill Belichick? Try to win without Brady. Save a little bit of your reputation a little bit there, buddy. Try to accomplish something without Tom Brady because you're looking worse and worse every week. So Belichick, I would not take his word on anything, Joe. So some of these coaches that are piling on, again, NFLPA, this is all a soapbox. This is all bullshit. Okay? Bottom line is that kid throws the ball away like he's supposed to. Nobody ever talks about this. But now you get to point fingers and put this, that he's at risk and all that. When he was balling that night, he wasn't fuzzy. He wasn't groggy. He wasn't making terrible decisions. He got cocky with the interception, and that was a dumb decision on his part. That's it, but that's normal quarterback play. There were no indications on that night that anything affected him from Sunday. In fact, the second half of the Buffalo game wasn't affected by the first half of the Buffalo game when he did get hit. So to me, all of this stuff, we're making a big deal of it because unfortunately he gets concussed twice in a week. That's the reason why his bad decision put him in that position. So now we get to go up in arms and get freaked out. You know, it's the other thing I've talked about, Joe.
Wait, did you just say he got concussed twice in a week?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Wait,
I mean,
so
didn't it look like I said it on Saturday. I said it on that Sunday that it looked like it was a concussion. Of course it looked like a concussion. They said it wasn't, but what am I going to do? That's their doctors.
So if he
They
had
said
a
it wasn't.
concussion, you're saying so I'm a little bit confused here. So you're saying he shouldn't have returned to the field?
Probably not. Yes. He probably not. But we're all different, dude. We're all different. He bounced back right away. He passed whatever test that they have. Okay? He clearly passed their tests, and then they put him back out on the field.
But you can't say that this is being overblown and it's not that big a deal if, in your opinion, the Dolphins starting quarterback has had 2 concussions in 5 days.
Yeah, no, but the only
that is
reason
a big deal.
No, it's not as big a deal. The only reason he was concussed in the second time was his stupidity. Are we clear on that? Are we understanding?
Yeah, you've said that 100 times, but you're also saying that this isn't a big
concussion,
deal. If you believe that
the
Tua
problem
has had 2 concussions in 5 days, that's a huge deal. What are you talking about?
The problem is most of you are over dramatizing this shit like he got concussed.
So you don't think head injuries are serious?
No, I do think head injuries are serious, but these are their decisions, not yours. Okay? You don't decide for a minor to go down and work in those mines and breathe all that shit his entire life. You don't decide for a fireman to walk in to a burning building. You don't decide for a 20-year-old who wants to grab a rifle and go defend our country. You don't decide for the FP&L worker who might get toasted on a wire. There are risks being taken here, bro. And if J.J. Watt wants to restart his heart on Tuesday and play on Sunday, that's his prerogative. And so if you clear concussion protocol and you want to play, that's your prerogative. Now, in this world, we seem to want to control other people's lives. If you decide to get in front of the running of the bulls and you get a horn in your ass, that's your problem, not mine. So if Tua Tagovailoa wants to keep playing, these are the risks. But what I would tell him is, dude, get rid of the football because you're doing a lot of stupid things and getting
I
yourself
disagree with you. I hear some victim blaming, and I hear you disagreeing with the premise of protecting players from themselves. So we have a disagreement on that point.
No, it's not that I disagree on protecting players from themselves. The league checked them out and checked them in. The problem is the league's now embarrassed that their protocols still suck, and they let that get by. So now they use that doctor as an excuse when that doctor probably followed all of the protocols. And by the way, Joe, am I seeing any
Maybe, we don't know.
malpractice lawsuits? When I see a malpractice lawsuit, Joe, from Tua, his lawyer, from the NFLPA, NFL, somebody, or the doctor suing them, then I'll believe there's something that went on here. But meanwhile, I'm not falling for this bullshit that the NFL is selling to you and all the fans out there, that this was, oh no, let's correct this issue. This doctor was out of line. No, that's your issues, bro. Because T. Higgins was playing with 2 concussions and nobody was talking about that. Because it's T. Higgins, it's not Tua. 2 different players, 2 different lightning bolts.
Well, there's nothing wrong.
T. Higgins doesn't move the needle.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the idea that Tua Tagovailoa having a concussion puts the issue in the spotlight. There's nothing wrong with that.
What do you mean?
There's nothing wrong with the fact that Tua, being a celebrity, puts the issue in the national spotlight.
No, I think it's also the video. We didn't see the ugly hit from T like we did from Tua. It's the whole Ray Rice thing. There's other guys that beat women, but we saw it physically with Ray Rice. So it becomes a bigger issue. And with Tua, obviously, he's already a lightning bolt as it is. Now you see this, and all the people that thought he couldn't play, now they can use the injuries now instead of the fact that they were wrong about he couldn't play. So that's the other thing I see from all of this. Now they all jump on the injury stuff, and they're leaving the train behind of I said he couldn't play. He was too short.
Well, durability has always been a concern.
Always.
So
That's the only concern I've had.
All right. So let's hope that it turns out okay.
Well, let's hope it won't turn out okay, Joe. It will not turn out okay. If he does not learn how to get rid of the football, there is no chance this turns out okay. This must be the watershed moment of his career health-wise, because he will not enjoy professional success if he keeps playing this kind of football.
There's a fine line here, though. You don't want Jay Cutler. Remember Jay Cutler? Chris Perkins asked him if.
I get it.
What I'm telling you is, anytime somebody came within 5 feet of Jay Cutler, he would throw the football at the nearest guy's feet. All right, so you don't want that either. There's an extreme here,
Well, see, the difference is, Joe, when you have a great quarterback, which Jay Cutler never was, you can then overcome throwing it away, because you just described Dan Marino. You probably didn't watch Dan Marino's career like I did, but Dan Marino did exactly that, and it was beautiful. He'd live for the next play in the next series. You rarely ever got a hit on Dan. Either he made a quick decision of completing a pass or incompleting a pass. He didn't hang on to the ball ever. He just got rid of it. So you just described the greatest quarterback in the history of the Miami.
That's an interesting point. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily enjoy the Cutler Marino comparison, but I understand your point.
Yeah, I mean, Cutler's not. I've never even seen from Cutler what I saw from Tua in the first 3 weeks there. Some of those passes that he made.
Cutler probably played the Pro Bowl, right? I mean, this guy, Jay Cutler, was a skilled thrower of the football.
Yeah, exactly. He was a skilled thrower because he had a great arm, but he wasn't really a great quarterback. That's the difference, that sometimes we get caught up with the physical talent and then the quarterback position. And that's something that he could never manage. He just was not a guy that was consistent with his passes. That's his problem. He was erratic at times, and he would make bad decisions and have bad turnovers.
Career losing record.
Yeah.
Career 74 and 79, 6-8 with the Dolphins and Adam Gase.
Yeah. Look at Tua. He had no help his first couple of years, and all he could do was produce a winning record with a coach that hated him and an offense that barely had anything, and yet he won more than he lost. These are the things that, this is why
all we've done is praise him. We bring, how can you,
all I've done is praise him. All I've done is praise him.
How can you not bring up that he's first in the NFL in passer rating?
He's a badass, bro. He's a badass. It's just he needs help, and now he needs to help himself. Is what.
By the way, you brought up Teddy Bridgewater on the long ball. I believe he threw the ball further than any quarterback in the NFL last week. 60-plus air yards in the air, loaded up through the cannonball to Tyreek Hill. So
yeah,
you know
but this is why that conversation was so stupid, Joe, because people make it sound like you throw 50 yards in every game. And that's just not true, dude. It only happens a couple times in the season, although Tua was making it happen even more than I even expected. But that's not something that's I don't remember Joe Montana airing the ball out 60 yards a bunch of times. I remember him hitting Jerry Rice and John Taylor and Brent Jones or the one before what was the other one before him, but they were short passes mostly. 5, 10, 15, 20 yards, and then the playmakers would then make plays after that. It's not like Drew Brees was airing it out 60 yards constantly and stuff. Oh, dude, come on, man. It gets ridiculous. Like, oh, you got to have this big arm because that's what happens in the game all the time. And that's just not really the case. I find that to be kind of silly. So another narrative.
Check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Shad Joe, SCHADJOE.
And catch him at the Palm Beach Post. Make sure you subscribe there at the Palm Beach Post. Help him out there and catch up. You guys have that. What's that insider stuff? What do you guys call it?
What are you talking about? How you can get an affordable digital subscription to the Palm Beach Post?
Yeah, but then you also, when you do subscribe, as a subscriber, you get some of that insight stuff that you guys put out.
I mean, the one thing I'll do, Big O, for your listeners is if you sign up for the Dolphins Pulse email, I'll send you an email every Friday morning, absolutely free. So look at the Palm Beach Post newsletters. Check that out as well.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. Shad, much love. We will catch you later, my friend.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Be well. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Shad. Follow him on Twitter, Shad Joe. I guess Joe Shad wasn't available, so he got Shad Joe. There has never been a rookie QB to ever come into the NFL and play well. I mean, just Brady was, I think he was a first-year guy, right? Was he a first or a second-year guy when he came in? I think he was a first-year, man. It's rare that and it's impossible nearly at 6th and the 7th round, 5th round. That's rare. Higher picks, yes, they've come in and played well. But, I mean, look at Kenny Pickett. I love Kenny Pickett. That's one of the quarterbacks that I would have picked in this draft that I would take a chance on him. 3 interceptions this week. Growing pains, dude. You know, that's what happens when you play young guys. You have to go through the growing pains. By the way, Marino did come off the bench against the Raiders as a rookie and then took off. But again, he's a first-round pick. It's different. First rounders, second rounders, it's possible. Late or undrafted, that's rare. The Brady stuff is, you know, it's once in a generational type of thing. It's lucky stuff. I wish we could experience it here with the Dolphins, over the years, but you got to get that guy, man. Thomas Jensen says Tua needs to retire, but Brady just got his bell rung and kept playing. Hypocrisy at its best. It's a bunch of bullshit, dude. Bunch of crap. They make their decisions. It's their lives. They want to play the game. They love it. They deal with the knee injuries and the shoulder injuries and the pain and the recovery and all that stuff. It's not an easy game. It's a game for tough people. Okay, mentally and physically. That's just the way it is, but it's their decisions. I hate that we try to control people's lives sometimes. And I think that that's not right, because there's a lot of people that are working all kinds of jobs that they're putting themselves at risk, and we don't say anything at all. We just wait till after they're dead from whatever they do, and oh wow, I'm so sorry to hear about that. You know, just ridiculous. They got to call more flags for our boy as well. I've seen roughing the passer calls for less. Yeah. Rookie QB evolution in the first year is rare, but not impossible. Won't know if you don't play. So stupid with the Skyler stuff. Stop with the Skyler stuff. You sound just ridiculous. Really. Just ridiculous. And all you can do is probably bury your team and demoralize your starters because they'll probably know they don't have a shot. But, I mean, you guys are going to know more than they do. Don't understand why people in such a rush to put Tua back out there. Tua will go back whenever the hell he's ready, and that's it. Won't be when you want or I want or whatever. Joe Montana got knocked out against the Giants in 86, playoff by Jim Burt. Let's see what else we have. Ridiculous is rushing a person who just finished having a concussion symptoms back on a football field. But hey, who am I, right? Cap for life. All I got to tell you is, where did Thursday have anything to do with Sunday? Where did he look concussed on Thursday? Where did he look concussed in the second half against Buffalo? You can say all you want about it, but tell me that it affected his play. None. That's why this is all a big bunch of bullshit made up by a whole bunch of people that want to over-dramatize crap to get reactions. That's all it is. Because none of it affected his play. Period. End of story. Whether he was concussed or not, I think he was against Buffalo. He shook it off and came back in the second half. Should he have played? Probably not. But he did. And he balled out. And he made the kill shot of the game after the concussion, or so-called concussion, because that's all we can call it, right? And then Thursday, he was playing just fine. He only got injured of his own doing. No one else. It wasn't because he was concussed. It wasn't because he was dragging. It wasn't because he was groggy. It wasn't because of anything. And that's the point that all of you that want to point fingers at everybody else fail to actually have the balls to admit. You can say whatever you want, but it had no effect on the field. Zero. What happened to Tua on Thursday, it's what's happened to his entire career. He keeps hanging on to the ball. End of story. So make it up whatever the hell you want. But the bottom line is, whatever happened in the first half of Buffalo did not affect the second half. Did not affect the Cincinnati game. And if he just lets go of the ball there, nobody ever talks about Buffalo again, and we're moving on to the Jets, and they're going for 5-0. But because he made a bad decision and got concussed, now you have the pieces to over-dramatize it and blow it up, and everybody's irresponsible, and everybody forgot. But everybody forgets that Tua is the one that made the terrible decision on Thursday. He's the one that put himself in this position, not anyone else. Not the doctors, not the NFL, not anyone. He has got to stop making the same bad decision he keeps making in Alabama or Miami. But no, don't see it that way. Why see the logic of it all? No, let me just, let me play the drama. So it's a beautiful thing, man. What else do we have here going on? David says, thank you for the super chat, David. Oh, for the fans under 30, I'm 27. Which underrated Dolphins players are you most bummed my generation didn't have the chance to watch play? Underrated Dolphins players that you guys, Jim Jensen. Oh my God. I mean, we appreciate the shit out of Jim Jensen. But talk about a guy that probably suffered his share of concussions while playing the game. Jim Jensen would be a guy I would want every Dolphin fan that's young to experience. Yeah, Jim Jensen. Yeah, because we could use Zonka and Warfield and Kick and Marino and Clayton and Duper. Those are obvious. But you telling me about somebody that's a little bit more underrated, although we appreciated the hell out of. I think there isn't a Dolphin fan in the 70s to 80s that doesn't absolutely love Jim Jensen. Not kind of like Not enjoy, no. We love Jim Jensen. I mean, love Jim Jensen. Any Dolphin fan of that era agrees with me 1,000% on this one. Okay? That's one player that I wanted you guys to see because but Offerdahl is a great player. I'm talking about somebody that's a little bit more under the radar, that was, not a big name, but still super appreciated by Dolphin fans, that young players would. John Offerdahl was a monster, dude. It's my favorite Dolphin linebacker of all time. God, trying to think of a couple of other ones from back in the day that I would want you guys to appreciate a little bit. I enjoyed Fulton Walker. I thought he was a good special teams player, helped out. Trying to think of some of these guys. Ogden? You mean the little receiver? He's all right. Tommy Vigorito, holy shit. No, but Brian Cox was a hell of a player. That's not, and Ed Newman was, come on, man, the judge was a hell of a player. It's got to be somebody. Keith Byers pretty good. I like that one. Because he came here and was like a good complimentary piece and helped out Marino. Kirby Byers was the other guy that really helped out a lot back in those days. Hey, Duriel Harris, hell of a receiver. While the other guys got more of the pub, Duriel Harris was a pretty good player too. Reggie Roby was a great punter in his day, man. Jeff Cross was a hell of a player. I like that one. Jeff Cross doesn't get the love of an all-pro, but Jeff Cross was a hell of a player for the Dolphins. I like that one a lot. Tony Nathan is a great call, John Rouse. That's another guy. Never a great running back. He was never the running back he was at Alabama for Miami, but he was solid in the running game, but he was exceptional in the pass game and blocking. So smart. Tony Page. Wow, that's a great call, Terry. In the age of fullbacks, Tony Page, who, by the way, is an agent, and Tony would be a guy that I think people would appreciate big time. Keith Jackson was a stud. Lazy player, did not like to practice, but man, he showed up on Sunday, so that's all that mattered. Oh, Jared Odrick. He was solid. Not a great sack dance. That sack dance of his, for a big guy was kind of awkward. It's kind of a weird sack dance. Louis Oliver is one of those players that was a lot of flash, but I think that if you're honest with yourself, he was a decent safety. He wasn't a great safety. He wasn't a great cover safety. He was a hitter, and he wasn't the greatest tackler either. He was more of a hitter, and if he didn't hit, then he probably whiffed, So he was fun to watch. He was, Mr. GQ and all that stuff. But I wouldn't call him a great safety. I think sometimes the past, you end up sometimes, adding a little bit more sauce to what the reality was. And I think people do that with Louis Oliver at times. Don Nottingham. Wow. Manolo, you went deep, dude. I remember having a Don Nottingham 7-Eleven cup. The Blackwoods, they were fun to watch. It's a good one. Tim Bowens, man, great player, but yeah, appreciated big time. Yeah, those are some good lists. Darryl Gardner was, he was a solid player. The problem with Darryl Gardner is he had moments that you knew he could have been a great, great player, right? But the consistency was never there. And so that's why you had to kind of part ways with him when it was all said and done. And he developed that back issue too. What a character. But, he had maturity issues when he was here in Miami. He had some moments, but I wouldn't call him a guy that you really counted on and wanted to watch every week. Cephalo. Very good call. Very good call. Cephalo had great hands, was super consistent. He was never going to be Duper, Clayton, or Dorio Harris. But as a fourth receiver, Jimmy Cephalo was a hell of a player, bro. Okay? That's a really good call there. I like that one. It's like Joe Rose. Joe Rose wasn't a great tight end, but one of the things that I always remembered about Joe, that mother had great hands, dude. He didn't drop passes. You could count on him. You know, the Roses, the Hardys, the Bruce Johnsons, none of those guys were stars. But Marino could count on all those dudes to catch every goddamn pass he threw to them. And that, for Marino, that's all you needed, man. That's how you earned his respect. That's how he knew that he could count on you. The second you became James Blewett Pruitt, you were done. You weren't going to get the ball. You're over. So Joe, while not a great player, not ever going to be in the top list of your tight ends or anything like that, but clutch some bitch. Caught everything, dude. Everything. Bruce Hardy, too. Bruce had the slide catch down pat. He was the best at sliding and catching the ball. Marino would throw it nice and low, and he'd catch it. You know? All those guys were solid, man. It was like a group of not fantastic, talented tight ends, but they were all lunch pail guys that came in and did the job. Really, really enjoyed watching those guys play because they were reliable. And there's something about that when you're reliable. Yeah, but Dwight Stevenson was great, John. I mean, that's not, he says kind of under the radar guys. There's nothing under the radar about Dwight Stevenson. Everything is, Bernie Parmalee, that's an under the radar guy. You go from the UPS to the Miami Dolphins. Yes, that's an under the radar guy. And Gadsden, oh my God, Gadsden was so awesome. Awesome. God, talk about a money player. And another guy, talent-wise, you would never put him with Paul Warfield and the Marx brothers or Tyreek or Waddle. He's not even close to those guys. But when it comes to the clutch gene and catching the ball, he's right up there with anybody that's ever played in a Miami Dolphin uniform. You threw it to Arande, he caught it. I'll give you this about Arande. You want a title for him as the best ever, maybe, for the Miami Dolphins? Are you ready for me on this one? Arande Gadsden might be the greatest Miami Dolphin receiver to throw to when he's covered. Listen to me. Okay? He might be the greatest receiver to throw to when he's covered because he was so big and physical. He has those hands that are like bundles of bananas. You ever shook hands with Arande? Like your hand disappears. He caught everything in sight. So that's the one thing that I will say. Clayton had that magic. We've seen Tyreek do it. You know, a couple guys have had that magic over the years. Arande Gadsden was the man when it came to that. You threw it up. He caught it and came down with it. Automatic. So if you want, he won't be in your top 10, top 20 wide receivers probably. Maybe top 20. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. But he might be number one in traffic. Never seen anybody better maybe in a Dolphins uniform. Chris Chambers was pretty good. Arande was better. Really good, by the way, Chambers. I enjoyed watching Chambers play. Greatest 50-50 ball guy. Yeah, that's, for me, in the Dolphins uniform, it's Arande Gadsden. Okay. The guy over in Arizona that was at Houston, he might be the greatest 50-50 ball guy ever. I don't know, D-Hop. Holy crap, that guy is impressive. Man, he's impressive. Michelle Kaufman will join us in a couple minutes here. We'll talk a little football with her as Inter Miami gets ready for hopefully a playoff appearance, which would be awesome. Daniel Hoffman says it's Tua's job to lose. He made the decision to come back in that Buffalo game. He is a competitor by nature. I agree, Big O. Tua now needs to know that getting rid of the ball has to incorporate it. He has to. Or if not, we lose our franchise quarterback. It's pretty simple. Either Tua learns to get rid of the football, or it's a fuse that's only a matter of time before Tua's out of the game permanently. That's all. That's it. Simple. He can last for a long time in this league. Just got to use better decision making. You're going to take hits anyway. Michael Brockers is going to get you and slam you. Others are going to hit you, but you can't take hits for no reason at all. Those are the extra ones that put you over the top. McDuffie's hands were also tough. Yes. But I'm talking about in the air. He's not a Rondé. He's not a Rondé. That wasn't really Juice's game. Juice's game wasn't really a guy that was playing in the air. So I'm talking about something completely different from that. Greatest 50-50 ball guy ever, Calvin Johnson. There is no competition. I don't know. See, here's my problem with that statement to extreme. D-Hop is just as good. And if D-Hop has a longer career, then he's better because he lasted longer. So to me, I don't think there's much of a difference between, and I'm more impressed with D-Hop because he's not as big as Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was an enormous human being. D-Hop plays over his size with athleticism and flying in the air and his body control. So I get what you're saying, but I'll take D-Hop because I believe he's going to have a longer career and been doing it longer. So I'll go D-Hop. But I like the suggestion, but he had an advantage with his size. No doubt. But I'll still go D-Hop when it's all said and done. Rondé Gadsden one-handed catch has to be one of the greatest catches of all time against the Raiders across the middle of the field. It used to be in the Hall of Fame. You know that? That catch was in the Hall of Fame with the gloves that he used. It wasn't there the last time I went to the Hall of Fame with Sean a couple months back, a year. When the hell did we go to the damn Hall of Fame? When was it that we went there? Or no, you didn't go, right? I went, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was a Greeper. You guys went to a concert.
Yeah,
and then you
went to a concert. Exactly, right. We went for the Genesis concert. Exactly. And the Rondé Gadsden catch and gloves was no longer there, man, in Canton. It was there during the Marino, and maybe that's why they did it, so it'd have a little more Dolphin flavor while Marino was being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Maybe that's what it was. But you're right. That catch against the Raiders by Rondé Gadsden, oh, my God. A sideways catch. Okay? There. A sideways, and his hand was completely extended. I don't know if you Dolphin fans have ever seen it. For you young fans, you may want to go back and check out that one-handed catch by Rondé Gadsden in the Raiders. That was just too much. Absolutely too much. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, proud sponsors of our program. We've been telling you about Cutter's Edge Pro. Last night I posted a video. I don't know if you saw it yet. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter, Facebook, all kinds of stuff. And hanging out with the dogs in the backyard. And I got to tell you, man, the greatest decision I made was getting artificial turf. It is so easy to maintain. You save a lot of money because you're not cutting grass or watering the grass. So you're saving money long-term there every day. Then the dogs go out and do their business and they walk around and then they come back into the house. And guess what? They don't bring back any dirt. They don't bring back any mess into the house. You don't have to hear the wife say, oh my God, I just cleaned the floors, which happens when you take the dogs out sometimes, right? And so you look at it, the benefits are just absolutely amazing when it comes to artificial turf. That's why I tell you. So if you have some pets, like you have some dogs like I do, artificial turf is amazing. If you're looking for full landscape design, they can create and design it for you. They can work with your pool contractors, your building contractors, any architect to get the job done. They do landscaping, outdoor lighting, irrigation. They do it all. And again, the artificial turf, I can't say enough about it. Really easy to maintain, folks. And also, they use this special sand that they put inside the grass too to keep the temperatures cool also at the same time. And Cutter's Edge, total landscape solution. They also do lawns, landscape maintenance for medium to large condominiums and complexes and corporate parks and large commercial building complexes. They work all throughout Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, folks. So call them 954-472-0622. Tell them that Big O sent you. Ask for Will or Mike, one of the two, William or Mike, will take care of you. The website, cuttersedgepro.com. Go to our Twitter page, go to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and check out the post I have with the backyard and the dogs, and you can check it out. You see Maiden and Bono having some fun there. So check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. All right. Let me see. Okay. And we are awaiting Michelle Kaufman here and see what she's got to say. Heat last night, 5,093 at the red, white, and pink game, benefiting cancer research. Nice job by them. Bam, Caleb, Butler, Tyler, and Lowry were your starting lineups. Apparently, the big men were shooting a lot of threes. Bam making a three, Yurt making a three, Dedmon shooting. Although Dedmon was shooting threes last year, not that you really want him shooting. But I am intrigued that Bam and Yurt are shooting. And maybe you can get Yurt, on the court with Bam at times, as long as they can shoot. Not much to talk about right now because this is nothing right now. It's just preseason basketball. Tonight, by the way, they take on the Wolves at FTX Arena, so we get a little preseason basketball tonight at 7:30. I like it. I get to watch the Heat tonight. Then I've got Inter Miami tomorrow with a playoff-like atmosphere type game against Orlando City. So we got some nice stuff going on this week as basketball now starts. Hockey's about to start now. Panther season's right around the corner, man. It's starting in a couple days. Actually, it's pretty cool. It's gone completely under the radar like the Panthers normally do. And I know it's early anyways because we're all so much into the football season. And if the Dolphins are good, the Heat and the Panthers, especially the Panthers, but the Heat won't get nearly as much love, and the Panthers won't get any love till January or February until the Dolphins are done, and then they start to get kind of noticed by the general public. It's just so weird, man. Big O, do you go to many Dolphin games? Thinking of going to my first home game versus the Steelers. I've seen the Fins tons of times in Buffalo. Any pointers? I think it's a great idea on your part to go to the Steelers game. I think that's the game that Tua comes back on. I think he misses the next two. I think he misses the Jets and the Vikings, and then it gives him 24 days off. So you'll get to see Tua for sure, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's out for the rest of the year. Maybe he's out for 6 weeks. I have no idea, but he's a tough kid, dude. I think we're all just, not we, but I think a lot of people are just going hyperbolic and overreacting to all this stuff when it goes on every day in the NFL. So he'll be back. The only suggestion I have, my friend, is get yourself a decent hotel. Don't stay in South Beach, bro. Don't stay. That's so, what's that called? That is so typical. Okay. Go stay in other places, much cheaper. You can drive into South Beach and get the hell out. Don't deal with the craziness every day there of South Beach. That's what I wouldn't stay in South Beach. You can go visit if you've never been there. But yeah, get yourself a decent hotel and then enjoy some great food. And we got some great restaurants, great places to relax and have some fun down here. So do all of that. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Steve M., thank you for making the donation on Venmo. He says, in Tua's last 28 football games going back to Bama, he's been carted off the field 3 times. I don't know how long you're giving Tua to learn this dump the ball when his mistakes end up as hospital visits. Surely you agree we can't teach him until he's dead. I agree. Now, Steve M. is a guy, while we love him and he makes plenty of donations all the time, and I love you for that, and so does Sean and everybody else, you're quick to jump on Tua all the time. You're not necessarily the most positive Tua person on a consistent basis. You are looking to get off the bandwagon. But having said all that, Steve, you make a point that we cannot dodge because he hasn't learned. He doesn't learn. You would figure after blowing out your hip and probably putting your entire NFL career on the line with that play that he would learn, and he doesn't. So your concern is legitimate. I as much as, there are times that you're a little rough on Tua, your concern is legitimate. And Tua has to prove to us that he can learn his lesson, because he doesn't seem to learn a lesson. And bro, these are painful lessons. You blow out your ankle, you blow out your hip, you get your bell rung badly. I mean, at what point do you just say, yeah, man, I got to get rid of the football? We'll ask him. I promise you, we will ask him. Okay? They watch over there in Dolphin Land, over in Miami Gardens. They watch the show. They know. They know exactly what I say all the time. So if they've heard this show enough, they're like, yeah, and they'll prep to, hey, somebody's going to ask you pretty direct about about these concussions and how you're handling them. Okay? Because I'm one of the few people that will have the balls to say, this is more on Tua than anybody else. And everybody wants to blame everybody else, and that's wrong. It's wrong to blame other people for Tua's bad decisions. It's wrong to blame other people for my bad decisions or your bad decisions. We should not go Ryan Braun and Lance Armstrong. We shouldn't be scumbags like that. I mean, they were cheaters, so that's different. But my point is, if we create a problem, we should take responsibility for it. That's what we should do. And I don't see enough of that. Damn, you guys, for real? Is Tom Brady getting a divorce? Is that true? Is there any truth to that? No, right? That's just Giselle being pissed still?
I don't see anything reported. The only thing I saw was he's dealing with a minor rotator cuff injury.
Maybe he's not banging Giselle and he's playing too much with himself, and so he ruined his rotator cuff. Did I go a little too far on that? I'm sorry. Let's see. No, I don't see anything here. I'm looking at some of the stuff that might have had the story. Somebody sends me a credible report, then maybe. That's the problem with some of you out there. You throw all this crap out there and you never have anything credible to follow it up with. You never have any proof. You're just throwing crap out there. Thanks, Big O's. Keep speaking the truth. I mean, what can I tell you, man?
Hey, yo.
Yes.
Apparently, Pro Football Talk put something out 28 minutes ago. And then also the New York Post has also followed up that Giselle and Tom have hired divorce lawyers.
Wow. Now that's credible. Okay. Now we got something. Holy moly.
And actually, it was first reported by the New York Post, and then Pro Football Talk credited them according to the New York Post. So,
wow. See, now you got me a source.
Yeah, the problem is I don't follow the New York Post enough, so my Twitter timeline just feeds me what I follow, and I don't look for Tom Brady that much. So I was just getting Dolphin stuff, so I had to do a little more research.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I get it. I have I actually have the Post there. I follow the Post for sure because they always come up with crap. Yep, the Post previously reported marital discord in Brady's life. So now they are and living separately, all that stuff. Yeah. Wow. Sad. That's bad. That's bad. Now he's going to have to work for a living because she makes all the money. Hey, does Tom get to collect alimony and child support? I mean, he does make less money than her.
Depends who gets the kids.
No, she wants the kids, right? She's always with the kids.
Well, then
but no, you've got
child support.
Okay, so but alimony, yes.
No, you just go, you take care of yourself, I'll take care of myself.
I don't know. Tom Brady's kind of struggling next to her, bro. She gets to live a much more lavish lifestyle than he does.
I
don't know. I don't know. I think wouldn't it be awesome? Okay, so you pissed off your wife. You told her you were going to retire. You came back to play football. She's pissed, right? So now you guys are about to get divorced. So now you're going to get divorced, and now you've got to also pay Tom alimony. That would be effing classic, bro. That would be awesome. I would love that. That would be so funny. Because, hey, man, she makes all the cash. Come on. Now Tom's going to regret that he took so much less money in those other years with the Patriots.
I guess somebody's going into broadcasting.
Yes. Yeah, he no longer has the money to pay for a team now to become a part-time owner. Now he lost his cash cow. Giselle. Wow. That's crazy, dude. I listen, I got to tell you something. If this is the case here, that he told her he was going to retire and then he decided to come back, I'm on Giselle's side the entire time here. On everything. Tom Brady has nothing to prove to come back. Nothing, dude. You're 45 years old, man. You've played more than enough football. 7 or 8 titles. Are you looking at him any different? No, man. You already did what you proved out to do. You left the old man. You went to Tampa and won a title with another team. And the old man can't do anything without you. Okay? So that's already been proven. Belichick is in the middle of losing some of his shine because he is losing shine with all of this going on. Okay? His record sucks without Brady. He's a mediocre coach without Brady. And you can't be a mediocre coach. As one listener told me, well, Shula won with Greasy, won with Marino, won with Woodstock. He won with Unitas. He won with Earl Morrall. He won with all kinds of quarterbacks, which is true. You know, you got to show with more than one. And hell, he can't even do anything without Brady. So some of that shine's coming off his ass. But I got to tell you, man, this is a funky story, and Brady had no reason to come back whatsoever. And by coming back, he made a commitment to the team, to the players. But dude, you have a commitment to your wife for life. She's been by you through all this stuff. At one point or another, the sacrifice has to end. And what you have to do is commit to her and the kids. And I get it. This is a drug. It only lasts for so long. Once the football is over, you'll never be able to fill that void. I understand that. I've heard it from guys over and over again. But, man, what does Tom Brady do by winning another title? Nothing. He's going to be viewed as the same quarterback with 7 or 8 titles. The GOAT. That's it. And they don't look like a Super Bowl team at this moment, but it's a long season. We'll see what happens. You know what? If Brady is giving up Sugar Mama Supermodel to play ball, I can't hate him anymore. I think this is dumb, Dolphin Don. I got to tell you, I think this is dumb on his part. If he loves her for real, this is just, it's stupid on his part. If he loves her. Now, if he doesn't love her anymore and he's fallen out of love, and hey, man, sadly, this happens to a lot of relationships. It's human nature for some. You know, some people, you hope to love somebody for the rest of your life and be with them, but that doesn't necessarily happen all the time. So if that's the case, then okay, that's fine. But if it really was a football decision between Tom and Giselle, I'm siding with Giselle on this one. He adds nothing with another title. 0. All he does by coming back this year is put his body and his family at risk more than anything else. 7 or 8 Super Bowl titles doesn't mean a damn thing for Brady in the big picture. You know, I get it if you're at number 4 and you're tied with Bradshaw and you're tied with Montana and you're tied with this guy or that guy and you want to become the guy with 5. Well, you already did that. And you had 6 and you added 7 and you added it with a second team. You have nothing else. This season is useless for Brady. There's nothing he can accomplish that he hasn't already. So if he lost his relationship because of this, I think this is horseshit on his part, quite frankly. Okay? You don't fail your wife and your kids, dude. And that's what he's doing if this is the case. If it's football that got in the way for this final year, if it's some marital issues that they already had and they're out of love or whatever, that's different. But if football proves to be the reason why, she said, enough, I'm on her side on that one. Totally her side. Okay? All right, let's talk a little football instead of football. Michelle Kaufman does an excellent job of covering Inter Miami, and who knows, folks, they might earn themselves a playoff spot. We'll see. Tomorrow night, big game against Orlando City. Let's bring her aboard. Before I get into that, are you with me on this one? If it's really football that he came back for, and really Brady has nothing to prove. 7 or 8 titles means nothing. If this is, because apparently, you know, the Post is reporting they both hired divorce lawyers. If that's the case, I'm pretty disappointed in the guy that he chose one more year of football over his family. I think that's horseshit. That's just me. But your thoughts on that?
I never liked. I just feel like we don't really know.
Right.
I'm actually writing a column right now that's a little on this topic about athletes being human, based on the press conference yesterday with Gonzalo Iguain, which was very emotional. And I will urge everyone to read my column, which will be posted this afternoon. But I think we don't really know what's going on behind the closed doors of anybody in their marriages. Right. Okay. So you're saying if it's football. Okay. Let's just say he wanted to play football one more year. And, you know, he thought he didn't, but then he decided he did. And she says, forget it. You love football more than us. I don't know. I'm torn on that topic, because I also feel that if you really, truly love your spouse and they have a passion for their profession, that you support them, which she has done for all these years, but you don't stop supporting. You don't stop supporting and say, okay, I supported your passion for your profession for this number of years. Now I want you to turn off that switch and, switch on over to me. There obviously must be other issues there, because there are people who are very passionate about their professions and work like dogs, and they're still very much in love and whatever. Yes, me too. My husband is supportive and I'm supportive of him. And to be honest with you, being an NFL quarterback is not, in my opinion, as demanding family-wise as, for example, a baseball player that's gone 82 games a year, a basketball player that's gone 45 games a year, whatever. In football, there are 16 games, 8 of them are at home. So we're talking about 8 road trips. Okay. We're talking about 8 road trips in the playoffs.
8 or 9 now. Remember, 8 or 9 now. There's 17. 8 or 9.
Normal,
17.
normal working people who go on business trips way more than 17 days in a 365-day year. So I don't have that much sympathy. I really feel that football players, to be honest, have a lot of time to spend with their families and at home. Their season is not that demanding time-wise. I mean, I'm not talking passion-wise, physical, but I'm saying in terms of how many days on your calendar you X off to say, I am out of town. An NFL football player is one of the lowest of all pro sports, to be honest with you. A basketball player, a hockey player, a baseball player, my God, how much time they spend away. And then the people who cover those sports, you could say the same thing for all of the announcers, the sports writers who cover baseball, who miss 82 games a year and miss all of their kids' graduations and birthday parties and all that. So, an NFL player that's missing 16 days a year with his family, I don't think that's that big of a sacrifice. I think if he truly loves football and wants to continue playing football this year and is going to be missing another 18 days of the year, I'm not seeing it. I'm not. I don't know. I kind of disagree with you a little bit on that. But anyway.
Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. I just kind of get the feeling that if that's what it was, like you probably made a decision. No, I'm going to Tampa. We'll sign 2 years, and then we're done. This, that, and then that was the plan. And then all of a sudden, you change. I'm just, like someone said here. What is it? Somebody put it there. That he's gotten to live his dreams. When do the kids and everybody else get to live theirs? Because you are missing time with them too at the same time. So that's
my point. Is that it's not that much time. My point is that it's not that much time. Any business
quarterbacks are in the building all day, all week long.
How about a salesman? How about an 18-wheeler truck driver? I mean, how about a pilot, a flight attendant? I mean, there are people in all kinds of professions who miss family time.
Yeah, but that's different because those people are earning money every week just to survive. Tom Brady doesn't need the money, and Tom Brady has accomplished everything he could possibly accomplish.
Right, but if he still loves doing it, if you're a lawyer and you're 65 years old and you still are passionate about law and still want to do it, I don't see any problem with keep on doing it. Maybe he just thought about the idea of retirement and what his days and weeks and months were going to look like and said, you know what? I want to keep playing football because I love it. I just watched a retirement press conference yesterday. Gonzalo was literally sobbing like a baby, as was I, by the way, in the front row. It was really poignant. It was really emotional. This is a guy who is all of a sudden has found his peak. All of a sudden, after all the struggles, he has scored 12 goals in the last 14 games. That is a pace you do not see in soccer, 12 goals in 14 games. He is at his peak, and he announced his retirement yesterday, and it was extremely painful for him to have to do it. I mean, you are giving up the one thing that you've been doing since you were literally a child. Not even us, most of the rest of us start our careers at 22. A soccer player starts his career at 15, 16. This is what he's been doing for the last 20-something years of his life. It's all he knows. It's what he loves. It's his passion. And he's quitting, And so I can see where Tom Brady, it doesn't matter how much money. Gonzalo Iguain made $6 million each of the last 3 years. It's not about money with athletes or with other people who truly love what they do. It's not about the money. It's about your soul. It's about what's going to feed your soul every day when you wake up. What is your, what are you going to do all day? What drives you? What motivates you? I would never pretend to step into Tom Brady's head. I just don't know what he's feeling.
No, I'm with you there. All right. Obviously, this game becomes the biggest game of the franchise's career tomorrow night, right? Because
absolutely.
You made the playing game stuff before, but this is an opportunity to be one of the best 7 in the conference. Hell, they might even be able to jump a little higher than 2.
Yeah, they could get up to 6. They could move up to 6. If they win tomorrow and Columbus loses. If they win tomorrow and Columbus loses to Charlotte, which, by the way, just beat Philadelphia 4-0, which blew my mind. If Columbus loses and Miami wins tomorrow night, Miami is in the playoffs, which I think is a remarkable achievement for a team that turned over 19 players on a roster of 25. 19 players were new this year. The vast majority of them, the only one most of us had ever heard of was DeAndre Yedlin. I'll be honest with you. The rest of these guys were not household names. They were guys that Chris Henderson, and his staff and Phil Neville plucked from all the far corner reaches of the world, from Finland, from Ecuador, from here, from there, and everywhere. Yedlin is the only one that, that came with any kind of resume that we had heard of. And for a team like that, to 19 new players, if they make the playoffs, I've written the column already at the end of August that I think Phil Neville and Chris Henderson and their staff all deserve to get contract extensions. All of their contracts end at the end of this season. They signed 2-year deals. They're done. I really feel like, they have earned a chance to get a new contract, especially if they make the playoffs. They've done much better than anybody expected. At the beginning of the year, If you go back and look at the projections, most of the experts had them in 13th, 14th place. Most of them were not even above 13th. They were in like dead to last or second to last.
And by the way, that's a good prediction. That's a normal
because no one
prediction.
expected anything.
Exactly, because it was a mess, and you just said it. It's not like you added a whole bunch of household names. But the beauty is, and Chris Henderson, I know he's not going to get Executive of the Year, but he deserves to get some of that praise because to turn over the roster the way he has and to have the eye that he has had in order to bring all these players in, it just shows you that even next year, when they have one more year of those salary limitations, the following season, they're going to be free of all of this. This guy is going to be one hell of a general manager for this team. And it's kind of what you thought in the first place. Sadly, they hired the wrong guy the first go around.
Right.
But Chris Henderson, I think, has proven under the worst conditions. Okay. He didn't come in with a full deck. No. He came in with a pain in the ass deck and had to kind of start and straighten this thing out. I think he's done one of the great jobs.
Oh, I did too. And I wrote in my column that I wouldn't even make his new contract contingent on the playoffs because I wrote this on the last week of August. This guy has done an amazing job. And by the way, some Seattle fans have pointed out on Twitter that Seattle, since he left, Seattle has fallen. They did not qualify. They were eliminated for the playoffs. That is a franchise that had been a perennial, not only champion, but always in the playoffs.
Well, that's a marquee
some
team
of the
in the
Seattle fans, fans have pointed out that since Chris Henderson left Seattle, the franchise has not been exactly the same. He's really, he is, most people don't ever get to meet him or whatever. The guy is just the nicest, kindest. There isn't anyone who could ever, I've never heard one bad word said about the man. The culture in the front office there has completely, when I say completely, I've talked to people in every position in that front office from everything.
Trust me, I know the shit show it was.
Yes, it was horrible. It was horrible.
The shit show it was. Okay.
It was a mess. People were walking on eggshells. Everybody was grumpy.
And a lot of good employees walked out of that building.
A lot of really good employees walked out. A lot of really good people walked out. And Chris Henderson has turned things around. Everyone that I talked to says this is a completely different organization with him in charge. So I would have signed him to a new contract already, 3 weeks ago. And Phil Neville, look, he benched Gonzalo, and it took that. Gonzalo has said, that and adding Pozuelo, those two things motivated him, and he is a completely different player and a completely different person than he was in July. From July to now, in all my years, I've been covering sports 35 years, honestly. I have rarely seen a turnaround of a player like this, not only on the field going from a major funk to a major high, but also his demeanor on the field, his demeanor with his teammates, his demeanor with the media. This is a guy who never really chatted with us or was always a little bit short answers, whatever, the press conference. He's now like, hola, Michelle, ¿cómo estás? He's giving me fist pumps. He's like, yes, of course he's in a great mood because he scored 12 goals in the last 14 games. But it's chicken and egg, right? Which is first.
Well, let's be honest. He got here first with the attitude that I'm above all of you. Mm-hmm. I'm above this league. I can go have beers and smoke cigarettes and score goals on you fools. And then he realized, oh shit, I'm not in shape. These guys are faster. They're younger. This is a physical league. Yep. Yeah, and all that. And he got humbled.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, and then so he was also a dick along the way. And so now after getting humbled, he now has, and by the way, the blessing was all these changes because all you would have done if you would have kept the people around is if you would have fed that and it would have kept going right to the end of the contract.
Yeah, he had a little click. There was a little click of Argentine players.
Argentine click. Yeah, it became a joke, really, the Argentine click. Because it just wasn't a good click, unfortunately. And so that mess was broken up. And the best thing that Neville did was humble him even more by saying, you to the bench. I don't care what you did on the international level. you're not doing anything for me here. And then eventually he got back onto the mix after watching Campana go off and all that stuff. And then the addition of Pozuelo, I think, has really opened things up for him a lot.
Absolutely.
But he's been humbled. And now that he's been humbled, now I think he appreciates you and everybody else and fans and the situation that he's in, and probably the coaching staff too, because it's brought the best out of him.
He said it yesterday. He said yesterday that this club, he never thought he'd be saying this when he came to MLS. He said, when I came to MLS, I never thought that I would be saying that I am enjoying the sport more than I ever did, and that this club, renewed my joy in the sport and definitely humbled him. And, even when Pozuelo came, I will tell you, at the very beginning, the first few days after they signed him, he was not happy because all of a sudden they were signing another DP. And he was the big man on campus. He was the DP. And the first few days, he was not happy that they signed another DP. However, he immediately began to realize, you know what? This guy is going to help me because I can now stay up front where I need to be. And he's going to be passing me perfect assists on a silver platter. This is going to help me to have another teammate like him. And he picked up on that very quickly. And now they are best buddies. They are like inseparable, those two. It was not that way the first few days, I will tell you. But I have really seen a transformation of Gonzalo Iguain this year. And it's been really fun to watch. It's been really fun to cover. And tomorrow, he said yesterday that the greatest gift would be to win an MLS Cup with this group and to go out of his career with a trophy, which I know that is a far reach and a big goal. But anyway, he said it, and making the playoffs would be a start, and they could do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? He's just another one of those players that, the reputation was the MLS was a retirement league. Yeah. And yet it was a retirement league for many years. But over the last 10 years, this league has completely changed. Yeah. They've gotten smart. They're trying to find young people so they can develop and then sell those young people and bring more money into the league so they can buy more players. And so they're learning the business of soccer now. And
they call themselves now a selling league, that they are a selling league too. They used to just be a buying league and now they're a selling league, Exactly. And Gonzalo himself said that when he first got here, he didn't realize how fast and physical and young the players are here, fast and physical, that he said they're not as organized tactically as what he was used to in Europe. And so he thought that it would be easy to play here because they're not as tactical. But the truth is it was almost harder because they're not tactical. You have to be fast and physical, and he was none of the above. So he had to really change. And he is now, if you look at him, he is so much fitter. This is the fittest that he's been since he got here 2.5 years ago. And he's running now. You see him make sprints. And I'm not saying he's not Ari Lassiter. He's not Yedlin. But the guy is moving. He's moving his wheels. He's moving. Yeah.
Well, the goals will motivate you too at the same time. All right, Michelle, we'll wrap it up with this. Give us the prediction. What are we looking for tomorrow? What does Miami have to do to win? Because it is really, really you win tomorrow and you're locked into the playoffs.
If they win tomorrow, it would be great. The one thing I do have to mention that I didn't know until yesterday is that Pozuelo is a major maybe for tomorrow. Ooh, that would be a big loss for all the reasons we are just talking about, especially with Gonzalo. Gonzalo does not play the same without his little partner in crime. Pozuelo has a groin injury, and he is Phil Neville said 3 majors, major doubt. He said 3 times for Pozuelo. So that could be a factor, if he plays or doesn't play, or if he plays hurt. He's not at 100%. Let's put it that way. So one of their key players, the playmaker, is not at 100%. I still believe they're riding a really good streak right now. I think that Miami is going to win tomorrow night. It's at home. They've had incredible success at home. It's Gonzalo's big send-off. He has just 2 games left, both at home. I mean, for the regular season, he made his big announcement. I think that the energy is going to be great tomorrow night, and I will predict that Inter Miami will win tomorrow night.
Green Line, by the way, home of Captain Obvious. MLS is better, but it's not Europe, nor is the talent. MLS All-Stars will get spanked, a middling team. I got you, bro. Way to tell us the obvious. Did it make you feel any better, sir, by telling us the obvious that we know the MLS is not the Premiership, sir? We know it's not Serie A, sir. We know it's not the Bundesliga. I got you. It's not the Spanish Primera League. I got you, sir. Do you feel good about yourself now? Huh? Do you feel good? I always love those people that think they're really smart soccer people. Well, hey, I just want to remind you Americans that the MLS is not there. That's fine, sir. The league's 20 years old, 25 or something.
And it's still soccer. And if you love soccer,
something years old.
Right. I mean, if you love soccer, you support soccer, whatever level it's at.
That's right. Go support him or she. Okay? Go support the Miami FC. All right? But thank you, Green Lion. You're incredibly smart, sir. You really know your soccer. Man, you really educated us on that one. Michelle, what are you working on the Miami Herald besides that story so folks can check you out at the Miami Herald?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I'm doing a column today. Believe it or not, I will not be at the game tomorrow night because it is Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
They unfortunately, a league with a Jewish commissioner, well, they have NBA games on Christmas, triple header. So what can I tell you? Nothing is sacred anymore. All the religious holidays, the Miami Open final has been on Easter Sunday, and the Inter Miami game tomorrow is on Yom Kippur. And if Sandy Koufax didn't pitch in a World Series on Yom Kippur, Michelle Kaufman is not going to cover an Inter Miami game on Yom Kippur. That is sacred to me, but it is going to be a great game. And what am I working on? I'm working on, there will be another story coming. I did a big story on the Orange Bowl in 1972. I don't know if you saw it. We're doing this big Dolphins 50 year of the 72 season anniversary package. So I did a big story with Anthony Chang on the Orange Bowl, what it was like in 1972, which was really fun to go down memory lane. I'm going to do another one of those memory lane type stories that I'm going to start working on that's coming out soon. And the next thing is, University of Miami basketball just started practicing last week, and both teams, the men's team and the women's team, have really interesting storylines. The men are coming off an Elite Eight and have 2 new players transfers, and the women's team has the Cavender twins. The Cavender twins have 4 million followers on TikTok. 4 million. They have more followers than any athlete in Miami sports, including all the professionals and the Heat players and the Dolphins. The Cavender twins are known all across the country.
Maybe only David Beckham, right? Maybe only David Beckham's the only person.
They have more than David Beckham. 4 million. Wow. On TikTok. David Beckham would have more. David Beckham would, but he's not an athlete. But David Beckham has more. But other than that, the Cavender twins are the most famous athletes in this city, probably, and they're going to be playing for the women's basketball team. So that's going to be an interesting story.
And those 2 young ladies have produced $2 million already in revenue in sponsorship.
In NIL.
That is just amazing. All right, follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports and catch her work. It's must read at the Miami Herald. Michelle, enjoy Yom Kippur and go Inter Miami.
Yes, we'll see what happens. That'll be fun. We'll talk after the game.
Are you allowed to watch the game?
I will watch the game because it'll be after sundown. I'm going to be fasting. I'll go to synagogue. I'll repent for all. We do it all in one. We repent for the sins for the entire year. So, we go one. It's all on one day. All of our sins for the past year. And then I'll eat. I'll end my fast. And once I end my fast, then I can turn on the TV and watch Inter Miami.
I've decided not to go anymore to church because if I have to go into confession, it's been so long, so many decades now, I wouldn't leave that room for hours and hours and hours. And it's just, I need to pack multiple lunches and stuff like that, and tell Father, give me a minute. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. We'll finish this story. And I'll keep the poor man there for days. So I've sinned so much. I can't go anymore. You know what? The preacher will look like the Madonna scene in a League of Their Own. That's kind of what's going to end up happening with me. The preacher's just going to come out like, what? Who's this person? What is this? That kind of stuff. So I got to stay away. But you, of course, you'll be in there for like 2 seconds because you don't sin. That's the way
I don't.
Follow
All right.
Twitter.
Take care. Great to talk to you.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
The great Michelle Kaufman. We love her. Always excellent stuff. Bringing it on board, baby. Inter Miami tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I'm just so happy. I'm happy for Moss. I'm really happy for Moss because all the crap that they went through early on, all the damn mistakes and all that, and that dude's energy, well, he was pissed, but his energy never wavered, and he has always been dedicated to putting together what he would have done with the Marlins. He's going to put together a championship football club. He will. He will. He's got the right GM now. He'll fix everything. It was a disaster. I know because I was there. I witnessed it firsthand, top to bottom. Absolute disaster. But that's what happens with a lot of new businesses, man. Hell, every day I learn here on my show. You know, Sean and I are trying to build this whole damn platform up, and there are things we learn every day about, you know, where we're going on this road, on that road, and then we got to do this, got to do that, and you kind of learn, and you're going to make your mistakes. Lord knows we all make mistakes, but you got to have the determination to fight through the peaks and valleys of life, of business, sports, you name it, marriages, you know, and he has it. Moss has it. There's no doubt he'll make it, man. I've told people many, many times, say what you want. You know, I get it. They will fix it and they will figure it out. No doubt. What's it going to take to get Zach into the Hall of Fame? Common sense? I have no idea. Maybe the people voting are too concussed. I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you. I can't. There's no conversation I can have that says Zach Thomas doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, but that's just me. I've always been, and I think I'm going to be wrong, okay? But I've always been the guy that tells you, I don't know, man. I think Zach may be on the outside in because they're going to look at his size, and then at the era he played in, because there were so many great linebackers with him at the same time, you know, from Junior Seau to Derek Brooks, you name it, dude. There were so many great linebackers during that time. And it's just he was part of that group with Ray Lewis. And even though the guy from Chicago, Urlacher's already there, his numbers are just as good or better than Urlacher's. But what I'm saying is there were a lot of really good linebackers in those days. And he's part of that class that had a lot of linebackers. But that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be in there. But somehow or another, the shortness stuff, just they hold it against you, even though you played and proved that you can play. This is the stupid part, you know? This is the part that gets ridiculous, okay? And I just kind of feel at times that even the way he looks, it hurts him still to this day, even though that question should have been answered after year 1 or 2 in his league. Like, yeah, dude, yeah, I get it. He's 5'10", 5'11". Go watch him play. He's a freaking monster. He knows exactly where the play is going to be every damn time. You know, come on, give me a break. Peyton Manning called him the smartest player he ever faced. You know, come on, man. Get his ass into the Hall of Fame. But I can't help you, man. Can't help you. Can't help you. But I think I will be wrong, because I think he will get in. I think people are realizing it, and I think they are going to give him his due when it's all said and done. So I think I'm going to be wrong that they would keep him out because of the shortness and because of the other great linebackers that were in that era. You know what I mean? But I think I'll be wrong. I think he will get in. Hopefully this year or next year, but I think he'll get in here in the next couple of years. He's gotten close, man. It's gotten close. And it seems like when you're getting that close, you eventually get in. So I hope he gets the due that he deserves. I would love to go to Canton and go cover that event. Maybe we'll do that, Sean. Maybe that'll be one of our road trips that we'll go out to Canton, hang out for a couple days, cover the events, do some radio shows out there, and cover the Zach Thomas event. That would be cool. Perfect Q says, Big O, just want to give you huge props for defending our Dolphins and QB against the media, trolls, and haters. It's a never-ending fight, but I'm glad you're on our side. Well, I mean, it's what I see. You know, it's what you're not going to like me when I tell you constantly that Ryan Tannehill can't play every year. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on the other side of it. While I might be on the good side this time, I mean, I'm usually on the right side, thank the Lord. But yeah, this is one fight that I'll fight till the end, like I always do. And I'm glad that Tua has proven me right when it comes to playing. Now he's got to prove me right by staying healthy, bro. Get rid of the football. All right, let's thank Cameron Wolf, Manny Navarro, Joe Shad, and Michelle Kaufman. We thank Sean Stanley, baby, mastering this program every single day. We are going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for sending in a super chat, or if you made a donation through Cash App or Venmo, whether it's cash, whether it's Bitcoin, you can do it on Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show is our address there on Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. You can make it there. Thanks to all of you out there. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy the evening. Enjoy the Heat basketball tonight. We shall see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.